Come on. It's fast breaks. Listen. We back with another one.
Fast breaks, yeah, we coming with the takes. Never early, never late, but we always push the pace, yeah. And we really study tape, y'all just view the highlights. Man, we really watching games, yeah. You just watch from the stands. We run 3-man weeks, Paul, Dre, and Alan, yeah. Way more than a fan. We got love for the game. We don't have to pretend. Got it out the mud like you get it off the glass. I'm the run the fast break. Throw me the outlet. Yeah, we got it out the mud like you get it off the glass. Time to run the fast break. Throw me the outlet. We on the break. It's fast break. We on the break. It's fast break. Let's go.
Yeah.
Greetings, blessings, salutations, brothers, sisters, and babes. I hope you're having a wonderful Saturday morning out there. And we thank you every week for choosing us as your audio adventure.
We on the break. It's fast break. Let's go.
Apologies for sound quality today. I'm having myself a flu game. Anyone out there
Oh, he's
with
having a
allergies,
flu
you know
game.
the vibes, allergy season. It got hot out of nowhere. Pardon me if I go off camera. I want to spare y'all the sounds of grossness.
Listen to the science community.
Talk to
Do
me.
better. Nah. For everything, do better. It's 2024. Why are we still suffering this way? Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. Like I was saying something.
Let them know one more time, bro.
Maybe content.
Listen,
Hey, yo, that boy Ro is nice.
he be doing something. Why do we still have allergies in 2024? Someone tell me. Why do allergies?
Ain't nobody got
exist?
time to take shots every 2 weeks.
Why don't we just have one shot?
Because the trees don't
Someone
have
patent
fruits.
this.
Trees don't have fruits. That's why in New York.
Listen. There's no need for us to allergies don't need to exist in 2024. We have to figure out a way. If we can't beat allergies, how are we supposed to go to the moon? How are we going to explore other galaxies?
What is there for us on the moon other than Transformers?
Knowledge.
Transformers.
The obsession with the moon is ridiculous. I'm gonna be honest.
I agree.
The focus on saving our planet.
Go save humanity.
Really quick tangent on this. I saw a thing yesterday with Jeff Bezos. He invested $42 million into like a clock that's supposed to outlast humanity.
A what?
Tax
The doomsday clock?
Tax
It's
write-off.
not a big clock. It's just a clock that's gonna outlast humanity. It ticks once every 10,000 years. No, it ticks like once every 1,000 years, and it's supposed to last like 10,000 years.
Tax
It's just
write-off.
supposed to last. You think so?
Yes. You
I
said
don't know.
donated, right?
No, he
You said
invested.
donated.
No, he didn't donate this. This is an investment.
So he owns interest in ownership
Yeah,
of the clock.
He built. It's being built. They just created plans for it. It's being built on his own personal land that he owns somewhere out in.
Oh, still tax write-off. Business expenses.
No, that's the doomsday
Everything he
clock.
puts in, every dollar he puts into the clock is a business expense.
Weird. That's
Listen,
insane to me, though.
it's reading a
I need
lot
to
of-
get me a frivolous thing to do to call work
Right.
and then write off every dollar that I put into it.
That's the
NBA
dream, isn't it? NBA 2K24.
I said buy an
That's
NBA
actually-
team.
Oh, buy an NBA team?
Yeah.
Let's start
No,
an
but
NBA
that's
team.
gonna actually take a lot of money. writing all that off is not going to offset how much I'm actually spending.
Oh,
on
that's a
it.
fact. That's a fact.
Yeah,
Talk
that's
to
a
Genie Bus about that.
That's a fact. But let's tell the people about our audio adventure this week. What we got going on?
Well, my allergies are affecting my bungee, so I'm gonna need someone else to get that board, and then I'm gonna slow walk us up for a nice slow down grind possession.
Like Jalen Brunson.
Who will get that
Like
board?
Jalen Brunson.
You got it, Andre.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah. You
Outlet.
gotta do it. You gotta do the whole thing.
Outlet.
Remember that last time?
Outlet. That's
That's
what he
how
got.
slow. That's how slow we walking it up. Hey, right here,
Right
outlet.
here. Hey.
Horns. Now I'm playing outlet.
It's very gentle. Very gentle.
Hey, stack
Very
it up.
gentle indeed.
Stack it up.
Stop
You
trying
know
to run
who it is.
plays.
I'm always trying to run plays. You feel me? Pays that pay. That's how I run every day, no matter what they say. Only run with the real. I never run with the fake.
Olay.
I always come in first. That's always my take. If you got to bake, then you know you got to shake. Jeff Bezos, doomsday clock. You know I got to get a steak. Well done, steak. That's how I like my stuff cooked. On a run for history, you got to put me in the books.
Hey.
Well,
Feeling
that's pretty
sick, but
good.
never ugly. You know I look.
Mm.
Let me stop it right there before I go. My name is Ro, the hostess with the mostest, and you know this. That man right there is Andre. Oh no, that man right
Which
there
way are
is
you
Andre.
pointing? There you go.
That's Paul. That's Alan the man. We are a little ensemble that we call Fast Breaks. But really, they should call us Fast Breaks Shadamas, because we're going to start off today with analyzing our end of season award predictions. All the awards are out now. We can let the fans know who was right, who was wrong. Y'all let us know in the comments whether you got the picks right or wrong as well. We'll start with Rookie of the Year. We were all correct, obviously, in Wemby.
Yeah,
Of course.
Yeah,
That's not surprising.
Pretty easy.
That's not surprising.
He still got robbed.
He did.
Yes, he did.
Wait, he wasn't
talk
in
about that.
Like, he got Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, Rookie of the Year.
He's player of the year.
where
They gave it to a man who was getting hunted last night.
Unbelievable.
I can't believe this.
Sixth man of the
He
year.
said I move slow, but I move faster than him. Bum.
That was hilarious. I love how they invite the players on afterwards and like try to get like, yo, the series is still going on. Y'all trying to get me to talk crazy about someone I gotta play in 2 days. Like,
Well, he was very loud when he said he can't effing guard him. Or I guess
nah,
he was speaking
he didn't say that. He was
Slovenian.
speaking Slovenian. Yeah, nah, don't watch that.
Yeah, he was speaking Slovenian. My fault. Speaking Slovenian.
Sixth man of the year. Only me and Alan knew the truth. Jersey.
That's a fact. Big jersey.
Baby.
That boy is nice. That boy is
man.
nice. Though
This man Dre
no.
said Russ.
from the hood.
For what? For a 6-man?
He said Russ.
He
That's
did,
on-
he did say it.
That's on the site. What you mean?
That's
On the
whoa,
set.
whoa, whoa, whoa,
Hey,
On the sets.
wow. Wow.
Let's end the show
You
before
sound
this
like
goes
me. You sound like me off camera. That's crazy.
like, yo, what's going on? What's going on here?
On camera, I am not involved in any illicit activity. I am an officer of somewhere that I won't say on camera, but I do not
I'm an
partake
officer
in any
of
of
something.
that.
I'll be
I
doing
don't-
something.
Weren't you a Fed?
I don't know what you're talking about. I've never worked for the federal government a day in my life.
Right. And Paul said Malik Monk, you kind of bugged out too, bro. I'm not gonna hold you.
No, Malik Monk was a good pick.
He could have won too.
He could have
Kinda
Malik
won.
Monk was a good.
It wasn't being
Malik-
Nas Reed. Yeah.
Malik Monk was a good pick.
Then most improved player, we were all wrong.
Who to go?
All wrong. It went to Tyrese Maxey, but I think they did that to keep him off All NBA, which is ridiculous. But Alan said Kobe White.
Mhm.
Paul said Jalen Williams. Dre said Jalen Brunson, which is ridiculous. And I said
I said
Tyrese.
Jalen Brunson.
Yes, you did. Something's
No,
wrong
I
with you.
didn't. That doesn't make sense.
Something's wrong with you.
That doesn't make any sense.
I understand.
He should have been the MVP.
Honestly, your logic. Honestly, your logic.
You know what, Paul? Let me give you some love. Malik Monk got 43 first place votes.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
And
Malik-
Russ got 2 third place votes, and those are the only votes he got.
That's crazy. They don't love
Um,
Russ like that out here.
No.
Off the set.
I said Tyrese. Yo, you gotta relax. I said Tyrese Halliburton, but clearly I see what they. I had it backwards. Clearly they gave Tyrese Halliburton All NBA and then gave Tyrese Most Improved. I think on trajectory it should have been the other way, because I feel like Tyrese showed he could hoop like this already, and then just took it to a new level. And Tyrese is really the one that took a jump. But I guess because Tyrese Halliburton was in Olympics last summer, the World Championships last summer team, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I guess they're counting that as like we already kind of knew he was like that, so he's just elevated. Fair enough.
You keep
Fair
saying
enough.
Tyrese. They're both named Tyrese. Call him Maxi and Hallie. Distinguish
Whatever.
yourself.
Whatever.
Tyrese Halliburton was an engine, though. That's kind of crazy not to give him. Like, he had more responsibility on his team than Maxi did.
That's a fact.
I don't know if that's true because Embiid was hurt the whole year, basically.
Not the
Nah,
whole
Tyrese kept him in the playoffs.
Come on, man.
Kept
They
him
fell
in
a
the
lot.
playoffs.
Tyrese. They fell
Maxi
a
didn't
lot.
keep the Sixers in the playoffs.
Yeah, but they fell from like number 1 seed or something like
Nah,
that.
that's
Whereas
true.
Yeah, but
Halliburton,
that speaks to how much they missed Embiid, and for the fact that Maxi kept
Right.
them in the playoffs. Yeah, but Maxi kept them in the playoffs in a very competitive Eastern Conference. The Bulls
wouldn't
could have
have-
got the Bulls could have got in. The Hawks could have got in.
the Pacers wouldn't even have a team if it wasn't for Halliburton.
I don't know
That's
if
a
I believe.
fact.
I don't know if I
No,
believe.
I
it.
believe that.
Before they
I
got
believe that.
Pascal, absolutely. Tyrese.
Yeah, but think
I
about
believe
that. Yeah, but speak about that. Before they got Pascal, what were they going to be? They were going to be what? Maybe out
In
of the
the
playoffs.
No,
No, because
No,
with
not
Pascal,
maybe. They would've been.
think about it. Think about it. With
They
Oh,
won the
without
easy-
Pascal,
They won
I'm
the
sorry.
in-season tournament without
listen.
Pascal.
Think about this. Think about this. The 76ers lost an MVP and held on to the 7th seed. The Pacers made a trade for an all-star who averages 20 plus points, and they only got the 6th seed. So who is really doing more work?
The offense is revolving around Tyrese, though.
That's tough.
But
to say.
respond to
won
what I
the
just said though. Respond to what I just said though. The 76ers lost an MVP and held on to the 7th seed. The Pacers gained an all-star and only got to the 6th seed.
That's twisted reality because they fell from like the number
Their
1 seed.
record was a 1-game difference.
They
Plus,
fell from
it was
the
a
number 1
midway.
seed.
Hold on.
It
It
was
was
like
a
a number
mid.
2 seed or something like
It was
that.
a mid-season trade. It doesn't always go that way. In fact, historically, generally, like when you get these mids, with the exception of the Knicks, when you get these mid-season trades, you don't really skyrocket necessarily like
The
that.
Knicks did it, and the Lakers
I
did
said
it
with
last
the
year.
I said
The
with
Lakers did it
exception of
last year. The
Knicks.
Lakers did a mid-season trade and went to the conference
Who's the
finals.
mid-season trade for?
The Timberwolves. The entire
To get
Timberwolves
D'Lo?
core.
Oh, right,
No,
that's true.
the
Oh,
entire Timberwolves core.
that's true.
And we went to the Western Conference Finals, so I don't want to hear mid-season trades don't work out.
I don't
That's-
agree with
that's-
that, but all I'm
that's
saying
cap.
is they fell from 2nd seed. So that showed you how important. You could say they almost missed the playoffs because Embiid wasn't there. So you could say it like that. Whereas the whole offense revolves around Tyrese.
They had a
Halliburton.
one-game difference.
Halliburton.
They had a one-game difference, though.
I mean, if you're talking about seeding and playoffs, they fell.
Okay, I think it's
Oh.
Alan. What you think?
I agree with Paul. I think that whole offense revolved around him.
It does.
Even when Pascal Siakam got there, it still revolved all around him.
Correct.
He did a lot more work for the Pacers.
Correct. That team only
A
works
lot
if you have a
more work?
point guard. No, that team only works. Halliburton's team,
Yeah,
the
look at me,
Pacers,
like,
they
focus.
only work with a point guard like Halliburton
Yeah.
that can activate and unlock everybody else. If you have a lesser pass first point guard, it doesn't work. Like if we put
No,
Dame,
I'm not saying
So he averaged
I'm
20
not
and
saying it
10.
doesn't
He
work.
averaged
I'm not
20 and
saying-
10, and Maxi averaged 27. Is 20 and 10 more work?
yes,
Yes.
that 10 assists is a lot of
Yes.
work,
Yes, it
particularly
is.
when he contributes a lot. He creates winning opportunities. Now, if the 76ers only drop down to 4, I'd be like, all right, Maxey. got it.
Maxey averaged 26 and 6.
I know what he did. But that 20 and 10 is a lot. And also it's the gravity that he brings with it.
What
Maxey,
was the
as good as he
record?
is,
What was the record without Embiid? I know they dropped, but what was their?
they dropped a lot.
If we could look that up,
Yeah. Y'all keep talking.
because, like I said, I think Halliburton had the ultra green light on that team, and they literally went how he went.
They were 16 and 27 without Joel.
Yep.
Yeesh.
Yep.
Yeesh.
They fell a lot in seeding, so I already knew they had to lose a number.
Now, what would happen if the Pacers lost Halliburton for any extended period of time?
It would
They
be the same
did.
thing.
They did.
Yeah, they did.
And they
How long
dropped.
was he out?
They
How
dropped.
long was he out?
They were competing
wasn't
with the Knicks at one point. They dropped.
It was.
He wasn't
He was out for like a couple weeks, a little bit after All Star. I don't know. It wasn't.
That's what I'm saying.
They
It was
hurt
like
their seeding. I remember
it was a
that.
couple of weeks. I'm talking about extended, like Joel extended, like half the season.
It wasn't extensive, but the Pacers had a 7-6 record without Tyrese Halliburton this year.
Pretty good.
7 and
actually.
6. They're staying pretty. They're staying 16-27 versus 7-6.
You know what I'm saying?
They're winning half the games. I mean, the
That's what I'm
76ers
saying.
were putting in work.
That's what I'm saying.
But they lost a lot more. You know, it's not like they broke even.
Of course,
That
but
was
that's
20-20.
my whole point is that the team really was bad without Joel, and Tyrese kept them out of the play-in, actually. I know, actually, he got him in the play-in. I'm bugging.
You got him in the plan.
Right, and the Pacers in the small sample size without Halliburton pretty much kept at their regular winning pace because they ended the season only slightly over 500.
7 and 6. So wait, you're telling me that the Pacers were 40 and 29 with Halliburton?
Yeah,
I'll give it that to Halliburton, man.
that's all NBA work, a 40 and 29 record.
Yes.
Yeah, kind of.
All right, fair enough. We don't gotta labor on it. I'm not mad at which got which. I think it wouldn't have been a hard pill to swallow if it was the other way around.
No, I don't think so.
No one to say otherwise. Except maybe.
But
Halliburton.
I kind of saw that coming because I was almost complaining about how the league was off Halliburton after gassing him in the first half of the season.
Yeah.
They were off him.
Yeah.
They were off
One
him.
question: Did Maxey make it last year? 13 or any of the teams?
All NBA? Nah, no way.
Because then that's straight up like quote unquote politics. That's not the right word for it, but then that's politics.
No. He didn't make it.
Yeah, maybe I could have sworn he made all 13. So weird.
No. Not with the James Harden on the team. No way.
He might make it.
I think so. Well, let's get into. Obviously, we don't need to talk about Defensive Player of the Year because.
No.
No. It's time for this to be a Rudy Gobert hate podcast. I'm gonna pull up stats because
Listen,
I don't want this to come off as just like
Not
true
nice.
hate. Like, there's no way when you look at what he did this year, it's the same
It
thing
should've
with
been
Anthony
him.
Davis. But y'all talk about what the feel is and what the eye test tells you while I look up some.
We got
some
robbed,
stats.
man. Wemby
Nah,
got
honestly,
robbed.
Wemby got robbed. And honestly, quiet as kept, your boy Anthony Davis had a better defensive year than Rudy.
Anthony Davis is the best defensive player in the world. I don't
feel
like.
I feel like they're used
I don't
very
understand.
similarly. You don't think they're used very similarly?
They can be used very similarly, but the impact is a little different.
Who?
And when what's his name? Davis and
And
old friend
Rudy.
of Rudy.
On defense,
They-
on defense.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. One of the most.
Well, Rudy can't guard the perimeter at all, where Anthony
Exactly.
Davis can do it a little bit.
Okay, besides
Exactly.
the switch, yes, I agree with that.
It's not even just a switch. Anthony Davis is a coverage in itself. Like, you have to there is no it's not the Lakers game plan on defense you have to plan for. You have to plan for literally Anthony Davis because he could do all coverages. He can do a switch and get out and get a perimeter stop, or he can play and drop and or a hedge and contest and stop the penetration of the ball handler and get back to the rim to block the roller or block the lob.
Do you not think Rudy can do that?
No.
Rudy is strictly interior, like strictly.
Strictly. He's the best interior defender, but I don't even know if that's true actually, because Wemby was doing a lot of work on the interior.
Getting back to the rim. Rudy takes up a lot of space in the
Yes.
He's going to take up a lot of space in there. He's very good at that. He's a disruptor. And I'm not saying
He is.
But I'm saying I see his value, especially in that Jokic series. I feel like they used him and the way the Lakers used Anthony Davis last year.
I'm going to say this. Wemby is on his way to being a generational talent in every sense of basketball. I really, really mean that. It's insane because he's not that far from being able to lock you down from the perimeter to the rim, and he can do all the same coverages that Anthony Davis can do, and he can do everything a guard can do, and he can do everything a big – he's insane. So
check this out. Wemby led the league with 3.5 blocks per game. No one else had more than 2.6. And he also adds 1.3 steals, despite various minutes limits, right? He had 115 more steals plus blocks than Gobert does.
Mm.
Right?
No,
I'm talking about Wemby.
Wemby, sorry, yeah.
Listen,
I could tell you Wemby is a defensive player of the year for the next 20
Wemby
years.
in terms of defensive on and off differentials, Wembanyama has a negative 11.5 off and on defensive differential. Rudy only has a negative 4.2.
Bro, you don't need the stat. We're gonna tell you. Everyone agrees.
No, but I'm not trying to convince you. I just want to put it into context. Like, I don't. What is the argument? Like,
I'll say this.
I'm trying to find what
people
the
like
argument.
Rudy. People
listen, do not like Rudy. That's not true.
These NBA execs do. The people who are voting love Rudy.
I'll tell what it really is. I'll tell what it really is. He seems to always win. And that's true. You can look it up if you want to. Rudy Gobert is like an advanced stat darling when it comes to defense.
Yes, he is, and that's why they love him.
And they couple that with the winning. That's why they be giving it to him for. It's not really much of that. It's not like the regular block. It's the winning combined with the advanced stats that tells them that he's a great defender. But
he's not the leader in advanced stats either.
He's always up there.
No, but I just told you on-off differential, Wemby clears him.
Yeah, but he doesn't clear him.
Wemby's averaging 2.8 deflections a game, which is more than Gobert at 1.6. Like, which stat do you what? Someone has to tell me the stat that he has higher in.
I'm going to tell you what it is.
Wemby. Wemby's defensive plus minus is a 3.3, and Gobert, and he's in the 99th percentile and 6th lead wide. Gobert's in the 94th percentile with a 2.2. What are we talking about?
I'll say this.
When Wemby's on the court, the Spurs have it up. Wait, hold on. I'm gonna keep going. When Wemby's on the court, the Spurs have 110.9 defensive rating, which makes the Spurs the second best defense in the league, which is just right behind the Timberwolves, who have a 109.69. Without Wembanyama, the Spurs have 118 defensive rating, which is the bottom of the league.
Yes.
Listen, man.
Just give him Chris Paul already, so they can unlock their offense and be one of the better teams in the league. That's all they need.
Listen. Let me say this though, right? What these people don't I think part of the reason that Gobert, well, the full reason why he got it is because of your favorite word, Farrell, which is narrative, right? I think it's in a reverse way though. I think that they see the hate that he gets, but and it actually underrates him in the eyes of the media and the fans of the NBA, because Rudy Gobert, and we see it even in this series, he's incredibly valuable to every team he's on. He's good at what he does.
I don't know.
No, hold on.
Can you paint that picture for me? Because we just say that, and I watch these games, and I want to know what people are actually referring to.
He alters shots like crazy.
He does.
But
he is really good on defense.
When you watch his teams play, when they get a stop that Rudy Gobert is involved in, do you leave the play feeling like Rudy Gobert was the difference maker in that play, or it was the defensive scheme of the team?
Sometimes
The
either
defensive
or,
scheme is Rudy. What do you mean? Wait a second.
That's
The
that.
defensive
See, that's
scheme-
what's not true. Both his teams where he had the best defensive team in the league, the team was a great defensive team. It wasn't like he was cleaning up after a bunch of bums. That's why I think the on-off differential matters. Rudy Gobert's on-off differential is only 3.3. The Timberwolves only get slightly worse on defense when he's off the court. Wemby, it's 11. The Spurs are one of the worst defensive teams in the league when he's off the court, and they're the second best defensive team in the league when he's on the court.
Because the Spurs are
So no, but what I'm saying is
That's
when
why.
he's on the court, they're the second best defensive team in the league, and when he's off, they're the worst. When Wemby's on, they're the first best. I mean, when Rudy's on,
because
the Timberwolves are the. Oh, listen, when Rudy's on, the Timberwolves are the first, the best defensive team in the league. When he's off, they only drop to like the third.
Mhm.
So how much value is he actually adding?
Well, okay, so
Enough to put him at
the
enough to
Timberwolves
take him
are-
from third to first.
Hold on.
But
hold
what
on,
does that
hold on, hold
mean
on.
about the rest of the team?
Wait. Hold on. The Timberwolves are a funny team because they got two centers that are starting at the same time.
They do.
Right. So
Even
you
though
gotta
Cat's
keep-
really not playing like a center anymore.
When Rudy's off, though, he does.
And
You know what I'm
honestly,
saying?
quiet
They
as kept.
alternate minutes. So
Quiet as kept. Going to the eye test. Last series with the Nuggets, Cat was the defensive stalwart. He was the guy
We
that
see
was
this
locking
every
up.
playoffs when it comes down to his individual capacity to get stops, right? Like stat me to death. Cool. I just told you how Wemby clears him in all the stats, right?
Yeah.
The best defensive team in the league. I just told you how Wemby clears him with that because Rudy's not contributing as much to being the best defensive team as Wemby is, right? But now when you go to, I just told you the numbers. When he's off,
okay.
the Timberwolves still one of the best teams.
I need you to tell me about the Jazz because on the Timberwolves they have two centers. Karl Anthony Towns has stepped up. He's been pretty good defensively since he's been in the league, but he stepped up this year too.
He's been great this year.
So
he was great last series.
Listen, so what I'm saying is Rudy Gobert, right? He's not versatile defensively.
No.
But he is arguably I'm not going to say that because of Wemby. I was going to say he's arguably the best interior defender, but Wemby's clear.
He's not though, because all right, let's break it
but
down.
Before Wemby,
what's the criteria for that,
bro?
Like
I feel like we're arguing.
We have to
alter shots and blocks.
He doesn't lead in any of those categories.
Wemby clears him now. Like Wemby,
he doesn't lead in any of those categories.
Because
Anthony Davis, I think
Wemby should have gotten the award.
Anthony, here's my.
That's what I'm saying. We're arguing.
No,
but I want to take the argument further. That
I think
to what Draymond says, Rudy Gobert
Oh.
is the Pat Bev of big men.
Nah.
Yes. No. I actually kind of agree.
I think he's better.
I kind of agree with that.
That's crazy.
He's the Pat Bev of big men.
But hold on though. Pat Bev could help teams too though.
That's a fact.
Defensively,
he doing it. So Draymond says that
I actually think Pat Bev is statistically better than Rudy Gobert.
He is because he can guard the perimeter.
Rudy Gobert is one of the best defensive centers of this
why?
era.
You have to tell me why. That's what I like. No one can tell me why. They just think that.
I'll tell you why.
Wait, Andre,
because we're talking about for me, it's a full picture, right? Like, how do you get stops, right? Ask me who led the league in contested shots this year.
Look,
you gotta stop talking about this year. No.
Anthony Davis.
No. You gotta stop talking about this year because this year Wemby and of course Anthony Davis, but Wemby is definitively the best defender at any position that he got robbed because he's a rookie.
Yes.
You gotta stop talking about.
But I think Anthony Davis is better than Rudy Gobert too.
That's agreed. I also agree with you.
I think Anthony Davis is more versatile.
The second. No, I think he's overall a better defensive player. I'm not gonna lie.
I think why Rudy gets these awards. Because
I think if Anthony
people
Davis
are out there talking like Farrell, like Rudy is just like.
Can I just say this?
You know what I mean?
I'm not saying he's a trash defender. He's a 4-time DPOY, right?
And let me say this too. Offensively, when he's in the paint and he got somebody smaller than him, and you can't say this for every center too. When he's in the paint, he's getting fouled on purpose every time. You don't say that for even Daniel Gafford. You don't say that for Derek Lively. You don't say that for
because they're small.
For
he's
mad
not small.
centers in the NBA. I have seen too much in this series this Mavericks Timberwolves series, when they get a switch, Rudy is actually impacting the offense as well. Rudy is actually good. He's not Wemby. He's not he.
Okay.
You could say Anthony Davis is better than him defensively, but Rudy is getting these awards because of the hate that he gets. And if we start hating on him as much, maybe we could look at him and say, okay, he's good, but we're gassing him a little bit too much.
But here's what I'm saying. It's the opposite for me. For me, I would have no hate against Rudy Gobert if he didn't get the accolades and payment that he gets. Like you're right. He's a very good center. He's a starting center in this league, right? But
he's one of the best.
He's not an all-star. He's not all NBA.
I disagree.
He's not all NBA. He's not an all-star. But he gets paid. He gets paid like he is, and now he's a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, which is supposed to communicate you're a historic all-time great defender. 4 times.
He's one of the best in this era.
When we think back about this era, we are not going to think back about Rudy Gobert's defense at all. I
don't think that's true.
I don't know if that's true.
I don't think that's true.
He's been on.
Name one time you saw Rudy Gobert change a game defensively.
He
does it from start to finish though. Like I think we got
that's the thing.
It's a very consistent defensive thing with him.
It's a holistic defensive. Look,
it's consistently above average, but it's not elite. It's not historic.
It's enough. It's enough. Listen, the facts speak for. Here's the fact of the matter. First and foremost, we all agree with you. But here's the thing, and we're just trying to give you the perspective of why he's getting these awards consistently. If he's the same, like you can put him on 2 different squads. In fact, we've done this. He was on the Jazz, best team in the West. He's on the Timberwolves, best team in the West. There is something that happens when Rudy Gobert is on a team and he's clogging up the paint. His clogging, even though it doesn't have to do it on like a macro level, on a miniature level, on a minor level, consistently little minor changes that he does throughout the game, it's enough that facilitates winning. Maybe it doesn't facilitate in the playoffs, and that's why we'll go as far as saying, Anthony Davis is better. Anthony Davis affects a lot more. He's more versatile, all that. But we can't discount Rudy and say he's whack completely.
I'll say this
now. What we can say, wait. Let me finish. Now, all that being said, it is the dumbest thing in the world that the best defensive player in the world didn't win DPOY. That makes no sense. There's no stat line you can give me. There's no narrative you can give me that tells me that Wemby shouldn't have won the award. It doesn't make any sense.
But I think that
I'll say this: he's an 8 foot.
The gas he has, like the fact that he got his 4th one, Rudy. Like y'all telling me this year is obvious, but I'm saying this year just puts a pin on how much he's been gassed his entire career. Like
no, he's been.
What is his about it? What is his defensive burden?
What? Say that again.
What is his defensive burden?
The paint, locking down the paint. If he doesn't lock down the paint, his teams don't get number 1 seed. And let me say this: he had the Jazz as an elite defensive team, but they had Bogdanovic and Ingles on the team. Think about that.
That's correct. The
Timberwolves are a different case, but he didn't become Rudy Gobert in the Timberwolves.
Was Quinn Snyder a defensive coach?
They had Bogdanovic, but
he can construct.
Yeah, but you're talking about individual defenders. I'm talking about scheme. You're talking about individual defenders. I'm talking about scheme.
Yeah, but the scheme falls apart if people can't play within the scheme, and that's what Paul's saying. You have 2 guys.
But you don't need individual capacity to play team defense. That's the whole point of team defense. No one person has to be able to get a stop because you play defense as a team.
When you have multiple people that can't get stops, now the scheme's falling apart.
That's not true. That's the whole point of team defense, helping rotations.
But they're not rotating.
But that's a nuance. No, but they are. That's a nuance that people don't understand about defense. Like your ability to stay in front of a player, contest shots, move your feet is less important if you know how to rotate. You don't have to be good as an individual defender to understand rotation and timing. And the teams he's been on have great defensive schemes where, okay, Bogdanovic may not be able to stand on the island and get a stop, but can he know the right rotations and be there in time? Absolutely. Joe Ingles, no, he can't move his feet on an island and get a stop, but can he keep his hands in the lane, get deflections, and rotate on time and contest shots? Absolutely.
Teams like that only work when you have elite defenders, particularly centers.
Mm-hmm.
That's not true. That's not true.
So where else does it happen where you don't have an elite center?
The New York Knicks.
The New York Knicks have 2 defensive elite centers.
Isaiah Hartenstein's an elite defensive center.
He's on the way up.
Yes.
He is on the way up.
Yes.
I don't.
Yes.
Only because he's a rebounder. Only because he's a rebounder.
No, he much like Rudy Gobert, he's good at deflections. He alters shots. He's not there yet. He's not elite, but he's on the way up. And by the way, Mitchell Robinson is elite. Mitchell Robinson is that guy.
Just really quick for like examples, what I was talking about earlier.
Yeah,
I was saying he's an advanced stat darling. It's like these really nerdy, like advanced stats, like where people are.
That's what I'm saying. Those are the people that vote for him.
But but I mean, it's not people who vote for him, but like those are people who like, because the reporters vote for them, but a lot of reporters.
No, I know, but they rely on those guys. They rely on some nerd in Texas that's telling me this is a good defensive player, so I'm going to trust him and vote for him.
But let me tell you, but it's also a little bit eye test too. Like you can see Rudy's not like above average defender, like Farrah said. But just for example,
I got a question for you.
Let me give you an example of like something I'm talking about. So like for something called rim defense, he's in the 98th percentile. Rim defense, all that is, I'm just explaining to you what the calculation is. It's the difference between field goal percentage of a player allowed within 6 feet versus what those same opponents shoot within 6 feet against other players. An example, if Miles Turner allows 45% within 6 feet when he is the closest defender, but those players usually shoot 60%. Does that make sense?
So what does AD add?
So basically, I don't know what this is. Oh, I'm looking at Rudy specifically. Give me some time. I'll figure it out.
So I could add nuance and context to that. Now this is not. I don't know. Is this for a fact, right? Mm-hmm. But what that could be explained, right, is why I go back to with defensive burden, right? So in terms of a team defensive scheme, the person that gets funneled to the big could be different, right? Right. So there are certain players that maybe you don't funnel them to the rim, you funnel them baseline, right? Or you funnel them to the sideline for contested mid-range. There are other players that you funnel towards the rim. So the biggest part of that stat you said to me is when that player otherwise shoots high percentage, right? So in my mind, if there are players that, yes, do shoot 60 to 70% in the paint that are then running into the player that's being evaluated and they shoot less than that, dope. I want to know how many times Rudy Gobert is contesting someone that shoots a high percentage in the paint. I don't think they send guys that finish well to Rudy. That's my point. So
you're looking at the stat wrong.
That's not true.
It's the same player. They're comparing the same players. Like you know what I mean?
So they're saying players that shoot incredibly high percentages in the paint, when they go against him, they shoot lower.
Yes.
I was going to say, because look at last series. It happened a lot to Aaron Gordon. He was getting met by Rudy a lot, and he finishes really, really well in the paint.
He interrupted a lot of alleys.
And that negatively, very negatively impacted, obviously, the Nuggets winning.
So here's another take on defensive burden. Mm-hmm. Do we agree that Rudy has been on teams where he's allowed to paint sit?
Yes.
Yeah, that's fair.
Wait. Elaborate on that.
As a big, there is a greater ask when you are consistently put in a scheme where you're switching or hedging, or when you are as a big or rotating, versus when you get to sit and drop, or when you get to paint sit.
Okay. Yes, absolutely.
I think Rudy's teams have been structured where he's been allowed to paint sit or drop because they know that they can't put him in hedge situations and they can't put him in switch situations, which we just saw last night, right?
Yes.
So
which was a big mistake, by the
way. So if per your defensive scheme, for all of the regular season, you're allowed to paint sit and just wait for guys to come in there and then attempt to contest their shot while literally just watching them come at you. That is a less defensive burden than guys who their team asks them to do everything on defense. And then in the playoffs, we see it get exposed. In the playoffs, we see it get exposed because in the playoffs, teams are not going to let you just let Rudy Gobert paint. They're going to put him in actions and make him do more than that. And every time they do that, he gets cooked. And that's why his teams always flame out, because teams scheme against Rudy. They don't scheme for Rudy, they scheme against him. In the regular season, he gets allowed to paint it and get all these contested shots and all these, altered shots at the rim. And in the playoffs, they scheme their offense. We're pulling him out of there because his value and his effectiveness, once we pull him out of the paint, is a great extensive decrease. And for me, that speaks to you say he's a great paint defender, but he's not versatile. If we're talking about all-time historic, 4-time defensive player of the year, for you to be a one-trick pony defender, that doesn't match up for me.
That's fine.
Cool. You're really good at contesting at the rim. But if we're talking about all-time great, all you being able to do is contest at the rim, that's not enough for me. Name another all-time great defender from a big position that all they did was contest at the rim.
I was literally
all Shaq did was contest at the rim?
Mostly, yes. Yes.
Also, I don't know if anyone's calling Shaq an all-time great defender.
That's what I was gonna say.
Dwight calls Shaq an all-time great defender.
He was breaking.
Dwight's a good one. I was going to say
Dwight's a good one. Shaq's an all-time. No, Shaq is. I'm not listening to that. Shaq's an all-time great defensive player. Yes, he is. I'm not hearing otherwise. Get out of here. I'm hearing otherwise. I'm not hearing otherwise. He dominated on both sides of the floor. I'm not hearing otherwise.
He was a great rebounder.
He was a great defensive player. He was a great defensive paint defender. That's the standard he's so upset about. That's the reason why it's so funny. The standard he's so upset about with Rudy is the same standard that was applied to him. He didn't have the versatility to go out there. He was too damn big.
And this new idea, this idea that a big has to be able to guard the paint and the perimeter.
It's new, and honestly, I don't really care.
That being said,
but we're talking about the modern NBA. In the modern NBA,
where I was gonna go.
That's what's crazy. In the modern NBA, we're giving it to the center that can't do it.
No. Listen.
That doesn't make sense.
That's what I was going to say next.
Shaq made all defensive team 3 times.
3 times. Yo, what's up? I'm talking about all time. Y'all are talking about good and great. I'm talking about all time. He played 20 years. He made all defensive 3 times. That is not all time to me.
That's fair.
That's the 4-time DPOY. We're talking about top 5 defenders. 4-time, and it was second team. 4-time DPOY. We're talking about top 5 defenders all time.
I'll say this.
So I'm hearing everything y'all are telling me. I'm not saying he's not great, but is he a top 5 defender all time?
No one thinks that on this podcast. No one in the world.
Okay, then let me rock. Don't push back on me, because that's all I'm saying. 4 times means you are a top 5 all time in defense.
Let me say this, because for the record, I started this and I said we don't have to do this. We all agree with you, and you wanted to keep going. So I'm like, all right, we'll entertain this nonsense. We'll keep talking about it. No one thinks you're wrong. I'm not going to speak for you other two. At the bare minimum, I don't think Rudy Gobert is not a great overall defender.
Let me ask you a question.
But he does what he does well.
You're wrong, but I do want to give Rudy a little bit more credit than we're giving him, though.
He's not garbage. I say garbage because I want to gas in the opposite direction of where he's gassed. He's not garbage, but he's not a top 5 or even top 7 all-time defensive player. So for him to have 4 DPOIs is crazy. It's kind of the same argument I'm going to make a little bit later on Jokic. What happens when you give someone an award a certain amount of times? A 3-time DP, your standard changes. So for Rudy to get 4 times, the standard of evaluating him changes. Him just being a really good rim protector, I'm sorry, that's not enough for 4-time DPOI. Go ahead.
I'm going to say just one last point about the advanced stat thing, because I find this part really interesting. I don't even know what all these stats mean, but it's just to further my point. This is what they value. So there's a stat here called defensive crafted plus minus.
Wemby that sounds made up.
No, it says. I'm reading it. Essentially, it's just a formula that kind of captures like the whole defensive box score and some other shit. But Wemby's is a 2.6, and he's a 98th percentile, which means he's all the way up there. But Gobert's somehow is 4.2, and he's 100 percentile, which means he's like the top 1 or 2 people.
But what does that mean?
I could read it to you, but I still don't understand it. I gotta take some time to like learn it. But my point is, they really value this type of stuff when it comes to Gobert for some reason. And
Paul, what do you
I can't explain it, but they do.
Paul, what do you think?
This is what I'll say, right? All right. Before I ask my question to you, Farrell, let me say this. You are consistent with this awards creating more responsibility and obligation on the
Yes.
players. You're very consistent.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
However,
Salary too. Salary
and,
too.
and salary, yes, you're
Mhm.
consistent with that.
Mhm.
What I will say though is, I think sometimes when not just you, but a lot of people have that mentality, they ignore the era in which they are playing. Right? Like Rudy is one of the best of this era. We can't deny that.
Mhm.
That's a
I think I can. That's
No
where
way.
I think I
No
can.
way.
Because
No
to your
way.
point about era, in an era where as a big, the defensive responsibility is either all or nothing, right? It's either you ask your big to do everything or you ask them to paint sit and let guards eat. He's a big where teams that employ him ask him to paint sit. And there are other bigs out here who their teams are asking them to do everything. So for the guy that gets allowed to paint sit and just worry about the paint in an era where the offenses are better than ever and are mostly perimeter oriented, that doesn't connect for me. That's exactly what I'm saying. In this era where paint offense is less of the priority and it's a more perimeter offense,
I have a
the
response.
guy that just sits in the paint to be considered one of the best defenders is, I won't say baffling, but it's a choice. It's an interesting choice to not reward the guys that are evolving as a big and doing everything.
Let me say
First of
this.
all, most of these teams. Wait,
All
hold
right.
on. Most of these.
What do you mean? Well, hold on. I said I had a response, and you just interrupt me.
Well, he
Well,
asked
he
me the
interrupted me,
question. Yeah, he
that's
asked me
true.
the question.
That's true. That's
All
true.
right,
Go
listen.
for it.
The thing, quick. I'll make it quick. The thing is this though. Most of these teams that ask these centers to do this aren't the best defensive teams for a reason.
That's correct.
The
That's
best defensive
actually the
teams
response.
do prioritize the paint, right?
That's correct.
And most of these centers that are asked to do this aren't good at it. Even AD was getting jaded by Jamal Murray for game winners.
Mhm.
So most of these centers that are asked to do this are not that good at doing it, and maybe they should stop. I'm not gonna hold Rudy Gobert that he's asked to paint sit when he's one of the best defensive centers in the NBA.
Who does
Because
that?
of that, more of these centers should stay away from the paint.
Correct.
I mean, from the perimeter,
Correct.
right? And
Correct.
I want to know
Get
what
your ass in the paint.
Roy Hibbert. But before you answer, go ahead, Andre, because Roy Hibbert was a paint center.
Honestly, you took the wind out of my sails because that's exactly what I was going to say. Look, we can talk about, defensive versatility and all this, and they should be able to. The teams are. I think it's a stupid thing if you're asking your guy to do something that's not winning you games. Look, they're asking.
Are we talking regular season of playoffs, though? Let's be clear. Are we talking regular season playoffs? Because what y'all are saying, and I'll be quick.
I'm talking about the regular season.
Yeah,
I'm talking about the regular
season. What y'all are
season.
saying sounds real good, but in the playoffs, are you effective if you do that?
Regular season
apparently, because
history has shown us no. History has shown us no.
Regular season awards.
I disagree because I'm not seeing a lot of stops by like centers going out and guarding the best perimeter. So it doesn't matter if it's Anthony Davis on Jamal Murray or if it's Rudy Gobert on Luka Doncic. It doesn't work. They should just get out of there. There's no reason. There's literally no reason. Game on the line. Jaden McDaniels or Anthony Edwards is not on Luka Doncic. That is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. What was Rudy going to do out there?
Too much switching.
What is Rudy going to do for you? It's too much switching. Get over that screen. Go guard him or go under the screen. Do something.
Let's take him out the game.
Trap.
There's honestly, Alan's right. You got to trap. You got to do so.
But then once you trap, then you're in rotation. Then you're in rotation, right?
I got to live with it. Because Luka Doncic is a big shot maker. Jamal Murray.
That's why the last DPO guys I respect are Jaren Jackson, Marcus Smart, and Draymond. Because for me, maybe that's where I'm going. Versatility. If you're saying versatility and as a big is not wanted as the overall defensive scheme, then maybe we should stop looking at this big man as the best defender. Because if the most effective defense in the NBA is to be able to be versatile, then maybe those are the only players we should be considering defensive players of the year. Guys like Draymond, guys like Jaren, guys like Marcus Smart that can do everything for you.
They don't get the stats.
Listen,
Draymond does have four.
He does also,
and that's real. And that's a real four.
But that's the thing. That's the thing. So honestly, at this point,
and that's why he's so tight, because they should not be in the same conversation defensively.
That's true.
He's not tight this year, though. I think he did say that. He said this year he's not mad at it. if I remember correctly.
They should not
It
be in
sounded
the
like
same
he's mad at him.
conversation.
He said, you need to get a stop.
Right, even the
Listen, man.
mentality, right? Like
Yeah.
when Rudy talks about defense, he talks about it from a team perspective. He's a team defensive scheme player. These other guys,
Correct.
they have personal pride. I gotta get a stop. My team relies on me to get a stop.
Correct.
I'm not about to blame
Correct.
what the other players did if we don't get a stop.
You're
He's
not
always talking
wrong.
about, oh, we didn't rotate, oh, we didn't contest, we didn't.
But he's
No.
also not wrong. He's also not wrong. We did not
I know.
rotate.
Right, but that's where you're supposed to be a cleanup guy.
Listen,
You're supposed to be a
I hear
mistake
it.
fixer.
There's only so much you can do at the center position. You know that. And if you're not a guy that's equipped to be out there and to do his job, as we've always articulated, is to paint, sit, and protect the paint. That's it. If he's on the wrong side, if he's out of rotation because the team wants him to be guarding freaking Luka Doncic at the top, there's nothing he can do. Literally, watching him last night, Luka might have honestly just been hitting practice jump shots.
No, but think about this. That's what I'm saying. Stop thinking about him as a defensive center and think about him as a defensive player. It's defensive player of the year. If you as a team have a player on the court, and that's why a lot of guys are saying he should have
He's
been
a
off the
defensive
court.
liability on the perimeter. Yes.
And in the playoffs, we're gonna hunt that. So it's exactly like you said. The fact that the DPOY can get hunted because at the end of the day, he's just a paint sitting big.
Mm-hmm.
That means something. Sure, amongst centers, maybe he's great. But in the overall NBA, you're still a big that could get hunted in a pick and roll.
Correct. I don't think he's the best defensive player in the world. And I haven't thought so in years. If I'm being completely a buck, up until very recently, the two best defensive players I've seen in the league have consistently been Drew Holiday and Kawhi Leonard. They are not bigs. They can do everything. They stop plays. They lock down.
Anthony
To that point. Let me ask you a question.
Davis.
Sure.
Yeah, Anthony Davis is a good one, but you said
Anthony Davis is up there.
You said Drew Holiday as an example. If I don't know, they run some type of action against like the Nuggets or something, and Drew Holiday gets stuck in a mid post up against Jokic, are you like, are you mad that he can't guard Jokic?
No.
That's what I'm saying. So like,
valid point.
Yeah.
That's a very valid.
But that
point.
would never
That's a very valid
happen.
point.
That would never happen.
I'm just saying.
Why not?
But
because
team wouldn't allow that.
Jokic
The
isn't
team
hunting
wouldn't
for
allow
Drew
that.
Holiday.
Also, Drew Holiday's getting over a screen. They're not switching them.
Correct. You know why?
I know,
because
it was just an example. I couldn't think of it
because-
better in the moment.
I know what you're saying, but that's
So
the
the team is
difference,
helping
right? That's the
Drew
difference.
Holiday?
You know, that's why for the record, he's one of the 3 top defenders in the league because he's not getting caught in that situation. And this is why Rudy Gobert shouldn't be up there. That's actually my point. Kawhi Leonard, he's not getting if you send that to Kawhi Leonard, he's out of that situation.
Isn't that Rudy's guard's job to not get caught in the switching?
Correct. It's the coach's adjustment too. It's the coach's adjustment too.
I'm not trying to blame Rudy. I'm saying as an evaluator, if that is the truth of the situation, then he's not that guy. And it's okay for him to be that guy. I'm not saying he should be, but I'm saying if you're the kind of player where in defensive situations, we can't rely on you, we have to rely on team, then you're not that guy.
Fair enough.
That's all I'm saying. Like, you sure Jamal Murray hit those 2 shots? Those were hard shots. You didn't have the same feeling when Jamal Murray shot those shots than you had the feeling when Luka shot that shot.
Yes, I did. I did.
For sure.
You might not have. That was good.
Well, okay, no. I should have said differently. Not confidence in them making it. What was the harder shot?
What was the harder shot? Jamal Murray.
Right? When Rudy did that switch, you knew that Luka was going to get exactly what he wanted, and it was going to be an open, easy shot. And it wasn't Jamal.
Easy.
No, it was.
Come on.
If you look at that shot,
come on, bro.
Rudy had a contest on it, but for
late, the release was gone. The release was gone. The release was gone.
Luka, who has one of the quickest releases in the league.
The release was gone.
One of the quickest releases in the league.
He doesn't.
Yes, he does.
No, he doesn't. Which is my point. He shoots over his head, and which makes it easier to contest. And and the release was gone. The ball was out of his hands before the contest even got.
I don't know if Luka's shot is that easy to contest. I don't see people effectively contesting that shot.
I'm going to say it's not. That's why it's hard to contest.
Luka's just like that.
Jamal Murray had to hit a fading fallaway shot, falling out of bounds. Falling out of bounds. That was a good defensive possession. That's a great shot. Rudy got an easy
look.
Shot.
He's a big shot maker.
Yeah, I'm not trying to take away from Murray. I'm just saying when Murray came off that pick, he was not thinking, "Ooh, it's sweet." He was thinking, "Ooh, I gotta go to my best move.
I gotta get this. I gotta go.
I gotta get to
When-
my
and
best
that's-
move." When
Luka hits contested shots more than most. So I
I
think
know,
he got it.
but what I'm saying is when Luka
He's also
came off,
6'8".
when Luka came off, he even said in an interview, I was surprised they switched. When he saw him on the island, he took his sweet time. Look, even think about this, the possessions, right? When he got
Luka,
the switch,
I was also surprised.
He pulled it back with 12 seconds left, went into a rhythm dribble to get to his move. When Jamal Murray came off, he couldn't even hesitate. He had to immediately get to his move quick and get it off.
His spot.
If they did a switch on that, but if they did a switch on that, Jamal Murray is not pulling the ball out to then ISO AD on the perimeter. Never happening. Never happening.
This is the thing.
There was a time difference too, though.
What about the second game winner? Did he not ISO?
No, but on purpose, right? Jamal Murray, they had plenty of time in the possession. Jamal Murray waited to do the pick and roll until late. Luka went for the pick and roll early, right? It's IQ. I want to get the switch early as possible because if I have enough time, I'm gonna dance on him and cook. Jamal Murray opposite. Right. I'm gonna wait for the last second so that I have to make a quick move, and AD has to make a quick decision. Ain't no way in hell I'm doing the pick and roll with 12 seconds left and letting AD actually set his feet in front of me. No. I would never. Right? So that's what I'm saying. We can move on though, because we all somewhat in agreement. I just think it's egregious. And
women better with the next 10. That's all I'm saying.
And I'm going to move to the next award, and I'm going to have a very similar because it's going to lead us into talking about how the Timberwolves Nuggets series closed, and that was me and Paul were wrong about MVP. Alan and Dre were right. Y'all had Jokic winning his third one. Me and Paul had SGA, and I think me and Paul were should have been correct.
Yes,
you should have been. Yes, you should have been.
Absolutely.
And I'm coming right to Paul because Paul promised me he would be on a certain type of timing. If Game 7 went the way it did. So I want to hear your
dog. Let's go.
What's your dog analysis of Nikola
Jokic?
What's your dog analysis? I want to hear a dog analysis.
That is trash.
No. Clear it out. Because I said I was going to hold people accountable, and I said I wanted a dog analysis of Nikola Jokic if they lose Game 7. Paul Robinson, Coach Paul, what is your does he have dog analysis of Nikola Jokic, 3-time MVP?
He's got horses,
what happened
bro.
Stop. I want to hear Paul.
What happened? Well, first, let me say this, right?
He's got horses.
Game 7 proved that Game 6 didn't matter. That's the first thing. Second, because it was close to the last 2 minutes. And then what happened?
I'm gonna let him go.
Then what happened? Joker, and this is what happened. Sometimes Joker's lack of athletic ability hurts him. And I think going forward, is going to continue to hurt the Nuggets unless he gets some type of athleticism, which I don't see happening. Joker couldn't get a bucket in the last 2 minutes because I don't think it was because he was tired. I think his lack of athleticism hurt his ability
because he's
to
tired.
Get that bucket.
Because he's tired.
No, hold on. Let him finish.
He wasn't tired. That's not what it was. He was tired, but I don't think that's what it was. He can't get off the ground. And when you have all these guys surrounding you, you got to be able to get off the ground and finish. Unless you're going to start shooting threes. And his 3 was off this year in the playoffs. Joker had to get it done, had to get a bucket, at least one in the last 2 minutes, and he couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
It showed why he is not the best player in the NBA.
There you go. He's only been the best player by Pharaoh.
All he had to do was get a bucket to kill the momentum.
All he had to do was get a bucket,
and he couldn't do it.
We need to have smoke for
couldn't
Jokic.
So therefore, Joker, you're what's it called? What do I want to say? You're right at the top as the best player. It's all right.
Over.
You're not the best player anymore. You can't continue to call you the best player.
He never was.
He never was.
He never was.
You know this
for this exact reason.
No,
yo,
he's always been by default. He's always been by default.
I said this, and y'all told me that he could do it. I said the proper way to defend the Nuggets is to not trap or double Jokic and see if he could beat you for 4 games. From an offensive standpoint, because his best attribute is ability to pass. Y'all told me he could do it. I said, name a time when you seen Jokic beat a team by himself off his ability to get a bucket.
And we said
Y'all
we're gonna
said
see it now.
y'all said he's done it. I said, okay, bet, watch. He did it one game the whole series.
One game.
He got that 40-point game in game 4 to tie it up, mind you, because they bummed off the first 2 games at home.
Yeah.
Game 5 didn't show up. Game 6 didn't show up. Game 7 statistically looked okay. But what happened, like Paul said, in the fourth quarter, couldn't get a bucket.
And Jamal Murray was horrible this series for the most part.
I don't want to talk about Jamal Murray because we wouldn't talk about Jaylen Brown.
Okay,
no, we wouldn't talk about Jaylen Brown. We want to talk about Jason Tatum, right?
I talk about
Jaylen Brown.
Probably
show up.
I talk about Jaylen Brown.
Right.
I would talk about Jaylen Brown.
But
Jaylen
Paul
Brown
wouldn't
probably
want
show up.
But if he didn't, Paul wouldn't want to talk about him. He would want to talk about how Jason Tatum couldn't get a bucket the entire fourth quarter. So that's what we're gonna do about Jokic.
No, that's fair.
And the only thing I disagree with you, Paul, the reason why Game 6 matters is because if we want to agree with Andre that you're tired, that's why you don't trick a game off.
That's what I was saying.
You don't trick a game off. You went to the finals last year, so you had a long run. You do not let series get extended more than they need to. You don't do it.
Y'all acting like I was crazy.
With a fresh young team with young legs and nothing to lose, all the confidence in the world, you do not let them roll into your crib in Game 7 with the confidence of just having beat you by 50.
I don't think it was
when they got fresher legs, and y'all's team also is missing a lot of the pieces you used to have.
Correct.
Right? You don't do it. You had to win Game 6. You had to and get them out of there.
No.
Yes,
you already lost 2 on your home court. The security of Game 7 at home meant nothing. It meant nothing. The games you won in this series were in Minnesota. The games you won in this series were in Minnesota.
Like the last 2 minutes.
What does that mean?
That means that you had a chance to win and your superstar couldn't get it done. I'm not looking at Game 6 for that. You had a chance to win that game.
I am. Here's why. You shouldn't be, if you're the best player in the world, you should not be in that predicament.
How many Game 7s do you know that don't go like that? Other than yours. How many Game 7s do you know that don't go that way?
Can I ask this? Because here's the standard for me.
All Game 7s are close.
Can I ask a question?
Last year.
Can I ask a question?
Where Joel Embiid and James Harden gave up. You forgot that. Go ahead.
Paul, can I ask a question? How many Game 7s has Michael Jordan seen?
I don't want to do all that.
Okay, I'll say this, right? They didn't have best of 7 until the conference finals, I believe. In Jordan's era. It was best out of 5.
It was best out of 5. That's correct.
Okay.
Right? And he had a lot of Game 5s.
He did have a lot of Game
5s.
That's true.
Now in the finals, he didn't have any Game 7s.
He didn't have any Game 7s. And the conference finals, how many Game 7s? Because he's the standard.
Remember when I brought up LeBron's Game 6 in Boston?
He's the standard.
Remember when I brought up LeBron's Game 6 in Boston?
It's Michael Jordan.
Paul, remember when I brought up LeBron's Game 6 in Boston and how that was the key game of the series?
Yeah.
It wasn't just the key game in the series looking at it from awe of LeBron's performance. It was the key game of the series from the perspective that the Celtics lost the game.
Yes.
Because you were up 3-2 and you went home with a chance to end the series. And you lost it and went back to Miami for Game 7. That's what I'm looking at here. You weren't winning at home in this series. Your wins in this series came in Minnesota. So you went to Minnesota with the Game 6. 2 of their 3 wins were in Minnesota.
Yeah, but they showed the ability to win at home too. They won at home one time.
But if the series goes, you're 1-2 at home and you're 2-1 away. When you go Game 6 in Minnesota, that's the game to win. That's the game to win and end the series.
I can't say that.
It was the same thing in the regular season. In the regular season, they lost to Timberwolves at home and beat them in Minnesota. The whole year has told you that you beat this team away. So
you think the professional NBA team is looking at a game at home and saying, "Oh, I would rather play away."
It's not about
We're not saying that, but
it's
you
about
gotta,
opportunity.
you take what you got.
It's about
That's
opportunity
correct.
and moment. You were up 3-2. You have lost more of the games the whole year. Forget just playoffs. The whole year This team has shown you that they can beat you at home. Sufficiently shown you that. So you're up 3-2 and you go into their home for a game 6. That's the game to win.
I think the Timberwolves are the favorites at home in game 6.
It doesn't. You're not hearing what I'm saying.
No, but that matters though. Because they're home. The Timberwolves are home.
Yeah, but that's the difference between when you're talking about a 3-time MVP, recognizing moments, right? That's what LeBron did when he went into game 6. He recognized I can't play like LeBron right now. I have to be scorer mode. I have to be killer mode. I have to be Mamba mode. I have to be Jordan mode.
What was the score for game 6 again?
It was
like 47, right?
They got blown out. Yeah.
Right.
Like,
so you're telling me Jokic could have had like 45 and they still would have lost?
They would have still
lost. They shouldn't have been in that position.
No, they wouldn't. No, that's not true. That's not true.
Y'all are completely undermining the historic defensive performance that Minnesota did.
But all these things connect. All these things connect. Y'all are doing Y'all are doing simple math, and you're adding up that 20 more points by Jokic. Hold on, listen. You're saying 20 more points by Jokic doesn't cover the 40-point spread, but you're not factoring in momentum. If Jokic is going crazy, that team is not going up by 40.
They're going by 20.
If Jokic you're still doing math. You're still doing math. If Jokic shows up, they don't go on those runs. You're not factoring in that when missed shots happen, transition buckets happen, easy offense happens, people get into rhythm. If they're taking the ball out of the basket every possession, those things don't happen.
You want me to tell you where they lose the game? Where Jokic sits. And then when Jokic comes back in the game, they double team Jokic, and then Jamal Murray out here bricking up the place. That's how they lose.
I can't go off that because it wasn't. I can't go off that because it wasn't like Jokic was killing when he wasn't getting doubled. He didn't show up.
Nobody showed up.
But so what? We're talking about Jokic, the 3-time MVP. You have to.
That's why I'm saying in the game 7. In the game 7, I knew who he was going to show up, but until the very end, who's going to make the plays? That's what I was looking at in game 7. Because I knew that game 7 was going to be close, and it was close till the last 2 minutes.
I'm not trying to take away from the fact that it was important that Jokic. I'm not trying to take away that it was important that Jokic didn't show up in game 7. I'm just saying the greater indictment for me is you not showing up at all in game 6 up 3-2.
Correct.
That's a greater indictment. You failed to rise to the moment. You're thinking from a very practical standpoint. No, but you can't. It's a higher standard. We would not say that about other players.
That's an irresponsible and unbelievably ridiculous standard. Game 7, when you have a chance to win the game, is what you talk about.
You had a chance to win. Game 6.
You can't get a bucket. That's what you talk about. If you have a bad game and you know there's another game coming up, right?
Exactly.
And you know everybody around you.
No, y'all are soft. That's a soft take. That's a soft take, bro. That's a soft take, bro. No.
Reality.
Not what we're talking about. We're talking about a 3-time MVP, bro.
That's game 7. That was not game 6. You telling me the
you have your foot on the gas. You have your foot on the gas in game 6.
That's why I disagree.
What are you talking about?
Your feet are on the fire in game 6. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say. Y'all yes, when you're up 3-2, you kill a team. You get them out of there. You have to get them out of there.
You get them boys out of. You cannot play with. This is Michael Jordan's son.
If he had 45, he was gonna lose. Nobody showed up.
Question: when LeBron in 2016 came back 3-1, is the only fault of the Warriors that they lost game 7?
No.
Was Curry injured in that series or not?
Wait.
Don't bring other than is the only fault. No, hold on.
No.
I'm asking a very specific question.
Find a different series.
I'm asking a specific
I want to agree with you. Find a different
Draymond
series.
got suspended for game 6, so stop.
Yes.
They were up 3-1. They were up 3-1.
Game 5. You're not game 6.
They were up. No, he got suspended for game 6. He got suspended in game 5.
From game 5, yeah. Okay, got you.
They were up 3-1. You're telling me the biggest fault of the Warriors that series was losing game 7?
No. It's Draymond's fault. It's Draymond's fault.
You got to kill them and get them out of here. You do not let a team come hang around and build confidence. The mentality of, there's another game to play. We have more chances to win it. That is a loser mentality.
Yes,
That's not the mentality of a 3-time MVP.
You're doing the same thing I think you're doing this series. You're acting like they rolled over and choked.
They did. They did.
We saw historic performances from Kyrie and LeBron.
That
was historic. You remember how crazy Kyrie and LeBron was going?
That's a fact. That's a fact. But guess what? It wasn't crazy. They still lost 3 games. You as Draymond, this is the biggest problem with the Warriors consistently, and this is the problem that we're seeing right now. Draymond cannot allow himself to get taken out of games. He is just like Jokic is the best offensive player for the Nuggets. Draymond is the best defensive player I don't care what he's got to do. Tie your hands behind your back and just play with your shoulders out. Do something. Don't let yourself get taken out of the game. Because the minute you're out, you mess up everything. You got to show up defensively. Jokic needs to show up in game 6 and kill the team. I don't care what you say. There's literally no excuse for it. Losing by 50, they're losing by 50 in a game 6 when you're up and you're about to go against the team that's built to kill. This team is literally built to kill you.
You have to get them out of there.
Exactly.
No,
but you don't.
Stop. Yo.
Exactly.
Yo, all right, here's what I'm saying.
Quite literally.
Alan, if that's your opinion, that could be valid. That means that he's not him.
That's correct.
Because I don't want to hear none of that. I don't want to hear none of that if you're him.
Listen, David beat Goliath. That's all I'm going to say. Get in there.
Oh, the team was built to kill him. Oh, they were structured. Oh, no one else was on the team was making shots. Okay, then you're not him. Then you're not him. Then you're not him. Then
you can't be. You can't be.
Game 7 was it.
You know what? Honestly, you want to know what have solidified? You want to know what would have solidified that he's him? Winning Game 6.
Game 6 was never going to be won by Joe. This is a ridiculous stat.
That's ridiculous. That's a
stupid
take.
He was not going to win that game. What? Can we stop
Why?
This? Why? He was never going to win the game.
Why?
I'm sorry.
Why?
Yes, he was. Why couldn't he?
Why couldn't nobody else showed up?
He didn't show up. He didn't show up. Paul, if he showed up,
everybody didn't show up.
Everybody shows up. If he shows up, everybody shows up.
Paul, hold on. That doesn't even matter. I wouldn't have this smoke if he showed up. If he showed up and everyone else bricked and you lost, I would say, hey, you tried to get it done. Your team didn't show up, and you got a Game 7. Maybe roll Game 7. No,
that's the case.
No, it clearly wasn't smart. It clearly wasn't smart. It clearly wasn't smart.
And you show up. What do you? Isn't that why coaches take out teams and blow out to the playoffs? Even Tibbs did that. Isn't that why? Game 7 was the game, man. They were up for not most of the game, but they were up late in the game.
6 was
yo,
Jokic could have got a bucket.
We have to move past this. We have to move past this because we're never going to
like Jokic.
But the thought that there's ever a playoff game where a 3-time MVP goes, you know what, just pack it in. When it's an elimination game with a chance to go to the conference finals is sad. If that's the standard we're holding a 3-time MVP to, where we go, they were never going to win that game.
Wait.
Crazy.
Pause on the play.
That's
Pause on the play.
Crazy.
Because I want to go back for a second. For 1 second because Paul started with the initial opinion that Jokic's time as best player in the world is wrapped, right?
He never was.
So is that what we're talking? Is that the distinction we're making here? Because
Joel Embiid, when healthy.
When healthy can't be the factor.
It's a fact. It's a fact.
It can't be.
And this is what me and you and Dre were saying. The world puts best player.
Joel Embiid. Hold on.
Listen, Joel Embiid. Let me land. The world puts the best player title. The world puts the best player. Listen to what I'm gonna say. The world puts the best player title on the best player that we see the longest in a given year.
It's Giannis,
right?
Bro.
No, it's not. The world puts the best player, which is why Steph in 2016, until he lost, people thought he was the best player in the world because it's the player we see the most at the highest level. The only reason we can't give it to Joel is because we never see him for long enough. But if we are being honest with ourselves, when he's on the court, there is not a player playing better than him in the world.
First of all,
that's true. But okay, all right. I was going to say that's true, but I can think of at least two very important instances where he was on the court in high important situations. And his presence actually ended up hurting their chances of winning. The first time when healthy, when he switched on to Kawhi Leonard for no reason.
He wasn't the best player then. He wasn't the best player then. That was 5 years ago.
So when are we talking about?
That was 6 years ago.
I wanted to.
That was 6 years ago.
So Audrey,
I'm talking about today. I'm talking about today.
Audrey,
yes.
Let me go. Pharaoh, last
LeBron
year
was still the best player in the world
last year
in 2018.
Last year, the man gave up in the game 7. Jokers didn't even do that.
That's the second time I was going to say.
He just said the couldn't get a bucket. Game 7 last year, he gave up. And then this game 6 that you saying Joker didn't show up, right? Where he say he was
the same thing.
He had 22 points, 2 assists, 9 rebounds.
Say that again.
He was 9 for 19.
No, stop. I'm going to stop you right there. Forget about that.
No. That's not a great game.
What's Jokic's? Excuse me.
Guy of his caliber. That's not a great game for a guy of his caliber. But when you have 4 for 18 on your team and he's playing 32 minutes,
what is
4 for 18 from Jamal Murray? You want me to go in on game 6?
Paul,
when a man went 4 for 18?
Paul, what is
the second player on the team?
What is Jokic's best ability? What is his best ability? What is his best ability?
What are we talking
What is
about?
Jokic's best ability? Answer.
Passing.
Hold on. Passing? Yeah. So how the hell do you have 2 assists in game 6? Get the hell out of here.
Because nobody was scoring.
Exactly. No, stop. That was a bad angle. That was a bad angle. Here's what I'm gonna say. If we're gonna give Jokic they were never gonna win that game anyway, game 6, then why does Tatum getting 51 in that game 7 not get they were never gonna win anyway for Joel Embiid?
Does for me.
What?
If we're gonna say for Jokic in game 6, if the take is we're never gonna win that game, if that's what we're gonna say, why don't we say that about Joel in the game 7 where Jason Tatum had 51 points?
Hold on. Let me look up Joel.
What you're gonna look up is that he didn't show up, which is exactly what I'm saying about Jokic in game 6. But you said, they were never gonna win that game anyway. So I can say the same thing about the 76ers versus the Celtics in that game 7. Tatum had 51 points. They were never gonna win that game anyway.
Joel Embiid gave up though.
They found out his
in a game 7. In a game 7, you have one chance to win it.
You're picking and choosing, bro.
No, I'm giving you the reality. Game 6 was not it for the Nuggets.
You're picking and
game
choosing.
Game 6 was not it. Game 7 was it. Joel Embiid gave up in an elimination game.
I'm gonna say they were never gonna win that game anyway. Jason Tatum had 51. They were never gonna win that game. You can do the same thing. Even if Joel Embiid showed up, they were not gonna win that game. I can say the same thing.
Man was 5 for 18. Man was 5 for 18.
Why does his performance matter then, but Jokic doesn't matter? And if you tell me because it was a game 7 versus the game 6, that's ridiculous. That's moving the goalpost.
Joel literally gave up. Literally gave up.
So did Jokic in game 6.
No, he did not. No, he did not.
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
No, he did not.
Yes, he did.
I think
he didn't have a great game. It was like
he doesn't have a good game.
Had 5 for 18 last year in the game 7. I don't want to hear that.
If you're telling me they got blown out by 50 and he didn't give up, then you're telling me the Nuggets suck.
Let me say this, and I'm going back. Giannis,
there's no way you don't give up and lose by 50.
Let me say this: healthy Giannis is still the best player in the world. I'm sorry.
Jokic only played 35 minutes in that game. You're telling me he didn't give up?
Oh, fair. No, that game 7, Joel Embiid scored 15 points, 5 for 18.
Right. Thank you.
He did fair. He was terrible.
Joel Embiid is not. We're not talking about Joel Embiid and Jokic in the playoffs. We're not doing that. We're not doing that.
Never did I say he didn't play bad. I'm saying why does Jokic?
You said he's the best player in the world.
Why does hold on? Why does Jokic get this created excuse of they were never gonna win in a game where he didn't show up, in my opinion, and Embiid doesn't show up, and it's all on him. I don't understand. So because Jokic scored 7 more points, because Jokic scored 7 more points, we can say, he showed up.
9 for 19 and 5 for 18 is a different thing, man.
Yeah,
that's a fact.
Oh,
that's
come on, man. Come on, the best player in the world.
It's both.
Go ahead, Alan.
No, I'm just saying this the only thing that I can explain is a fundamental difference between what you saying is not showing up and what we saying is not showing up.
And I'm talking about 3-time MVP.
We're not gonna
showing up. So 22 points for y'all on 9-19 was showing up. 22 points, 9 rebounds. I didn't say choking. I didn't say choking.
But that's what showing up from you is.
No,
that's showing up from you is not choking.
And that's an embarrassing standard if we're talking about best player in the world. Not choking. Not choking. Not choking is showing up.
If you got
Allen, if we're talking about best player in the world, your standard to be okay with it is just not choking.
Yes, that's what showing up is.
That's soft. That's soft. If that's true, we can end this because we're gonna always disagree.
The other team outplays you. The other team plays better than you, dog.
You're supposed to get better. No. You're supposed to get better in the playoffs. You're supposed to raise your level. If LeBron
is over for 4 games straight after they lost the first 2, we've raised level.
Keep going.
3 out of 4.
Keep going. You're the best player in the world. Keep going.
He
played like it. He played like a subpar game.
Pharaoh, wait a second.
No.
Wait. Every clear out. Wait.
Who's the best player in the series?
Tatum be having bad games all the time.
He's not the best player in the world. He's not the best player in the world. He's not the best player in the world. We're talking about best player in the world.
Jordan had bad games in the playoffs in his prime when he was winning chips.
He didn't even have 2 bad games in a row. That's not like you're not allowed a bad game.
You're going too far now.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's too far.
You're going too far.
Did his bad games result in them losing?
No, which is why I'm talking about game 7.
Okay.
I'm talking about game 7.
No, but here's what I'm saying. If your bad games result in losing, we're not just gonna pick on the last one.
Why not?
Because if you had bad games,
he had multiple
bad
games in the
series,
series,
you lost. I'm talking about the fact that you had multiple bad games.
Well, you only talk about one game though.
You're the best player in the world. Why did you have multiple bad games?
You have not referred to game 1 or 2.
Game 1 or 5. He didn't show up game 1 or 2.
Yes, I did. I did.
He didn't show up.
Y'all not hearing me. Y'all not hearing me.
Right, go ahead.
Listen to what I'm saying.
Yeah.
When I say you lost your first 2 games at home, in that is embedded also you didn't play well, right? So when you lose game 1 and 2 at home, that's why I'm saying game 6 matters. You have already shown you have not played well consistently this series. It took a 40-point triple-double out of you to get an important win at home. So when you walk into that game 6 and you know I haven't played well enough this series and I've lost 2 games at home already and I'm up 3-2, you got to show up and win that game. That's what I'm saying. You can't have another bad game. You can't. You've already tricked off 2 games in the series at home. That's what I'm saying. Sure, you can have a bad game, but you had bad games 1 and 2. You can now show up in game 6 with a chance to win the conference finals and have another bad game. That's what I'm saying.
Which is why in game 7, he actually did show up until the last 2 minutes, which is a problem. And that's why
I agree, but that's what I'm saying. If you didn't show up the whole series, I'm pointing to that. Y'all can tell me he can have a bad game. Sure, if Jordan had 1 bad game and then killed when it was time to win and won the series, that solves the bad game. If you have multiple bad games in the series and you lose, I'm going to talk about the fact you had multiple bad games. And I'm saying the most important bad game was 6 because it was your 3rd freaking bad game in the series.
So this is all I'm going to say.
When you had a chance to win the series, you had a bad game.
You think game 1 was a bad game? I'm counting 1 bad game. I'll give you 2. I'll give you 2.
No, there was only, hold on. I'm pulling up the stats.
Go ahead, Alan. Say what you say.
If you want 2, I'll give you 2 bad games. I don't think he had 3 bad games in series.
In a 7-game series?
That's pretty good. I do
5
not
out
think
of 2?
he had 3 bad games.
Yo, hold on. Because I still want to talk about I still want to talk about the standard we're talking about. Y'all think the best player in the world, it's okay for them just to have a solid game? Like, what are we talking about? If LeBron, time out, and when they were down 3-1, if LeBron and Kyrie didn't each have 41, the series ends, right? If LeBron didn't have 45 in Game 6 in Boston, the series ends that night.
One of his
The
best
standard
games
for
ever.
yes, that's what we talking about. When you talk about a legacy and a career in important moments, you have the best games of your life.
Game
So I'm not
7.
trying to hear. No, that was a game 6 with LeBron.
No. I'm talking about for Jokic.
No, but what
that
I'm
was
saying,
game
but
7.
what I'm saying is, in the most important moments, the best players ever and the best players in the world, they have their best games ever. I don't want to hear. That's what I'm talking about. Showing up. I don't want to hear 22 points in a game 6 to win when you're the best player in the world. Y'all can even tell me it wasn't a bad game. It was a good game. It's not enough. It's not enough.
Let me say this.
It's not enough.
Let me say this, right? We brought up Jordan. and it started with Andre. You should have done that. But we brought up Jordan, right? And nobody is saying that Jokic is Jordan. That's number 1. So we shouldn't bring up Jordan. Number 2, we bring up LeBron. We bring up LeBron. We bring up Kobe. We bring up Tim Duncan. We bring up all these guys. These guys don't always win the chip. They don't always win this series. They don't always win, right? Let's call a spade a spade. We do not always win. The best player in the league does not always win, right?
But do they show up? I
want to say something after Paul.
Okay. They don't always win. They don't always show up. They don't, to your standards, like they don't always have 35, 40 when they need to, which is the reason why they don't always win, right? Jokic, I got to look back at the game 1 and 2 stats because Alan, you said that he only had like 2 bad games, right? I got to look back. My opinion. Right? I don't remember his stats from game 1 and 2 because it was just like I was surprised.
Game 1 he had 24. Game 1 he had 24 points. He went 10 from 18 from the field. Game 2 he had 35 points. He went 15 to 26. Game 3 he had 40. He had 15 from 22. Excellent game.
Yes.
Game. Wait a second.
4. Game 4.
No, because this is messed up. Because this only lists 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This only lists 5 games. This is wrong.
I'll pull it up.
Yeah. Because it's only listing the last 5 games. I'm sorry. So that game 1 I said was game 2.
The best player doesn't always show up. The best player doesn't always win the chip. And we have to acknowledge that as NBA fans and people that are talking about the NBA on the podcast.
You're right. Keep going.
Because at the end of the day, it becomes irresponsible. Jordan lost, LeBron lost, Kareem lost, everybody loses.
Right, but so we're in the middle.
Quick. So we cannot simply look at the fact that he did not show up in one game that was not an elimination game. And
it was for them. They could have won. That when they were up 3-2, it was an elimination game.
It was literally not.
It literally was. That's literally what an elimination game is.
Was not.
Any game where the series can end is an elimination game. You're factually
wrong. It's not an elimination game.
Yes, it is.
That's up.
That's a fact.
It's an elimination game for Timberwolves. It's a closeout game.
That's a fact. Yes, that's a fact. It's a fact. It's a fact. It's a closeout game.
In a game where your season cannot end, we cannot talk about that game or simply as if, especially when there's the next game. The next game was closely contested. This was not Miami Heat versus the Spurs in 2013, where Game 6 was it, and after that we knew Game 7 there was a wrap. Nobody believed that. These are two evenly contested teams.
I did.
You did, but it didn't even play out like that.
Record,
so you should have
won.
that.
It did play out like that. It did play out
like that. It
was
close to the last 2 minutes.
I didn't say it was going to be a blowout. I didn't say it was going to be a blowout. I said they're going to lose that game. I said they were going to lose that game. I said they were going to lose that game.
It was close to the last.
Oh, stop.
They
lost. Let Alan go. Barrow, stop. Let Alan go.
No, I wanted you to read the stats. It sounded like you had the stats.
Well, I had the stats from
can I just
game
respond
1.
to that point? Because the stats thing, I don't even want to argue about whether games are good or bad or not. Because what I'm going to say I'm moving us past that because we debated that point well enough. What I'm going to say now is that
after you did.
Yeah, sure. What I'm saying now is I'm talking about we're watching a legacy in real time, right? So if Jokic over the rest of his career gets 2-3 more chips and shows up on multiple occasions, sure, I'll give him the grace of best players in the world don't always show up. But we're watching it in real time. He's won 1 chip, and all his other playoffs, he's lost He's never beat a 50-win team in the playoffs. That was a stat I saw the other day. He's never beat a 50-win team in the playoffs. So my cakewalk argument that y'all debated me on is factual. He's never beat a 51 team in the playoffs, and he's won 1 chip. So if we're talking about in real time, I'm taking in you not showing up as what is before me. I can't project out to say, well, Kareem had some times where he didn't show up, but he got 5. LeBron had some times where he didn't show up, but he got 4. Kobe had some times he didn't show up, but he got 5. That hasn't happened yet. So in real time, the analysis is more times than not, Nikola Jokic, you don't get it done when you have a real opponent in front of you. That's all we can say right now because that's what's happened. He's got 1 chip, and he hasn't beat a 50-win team to get it. So all I'm saying is right now, if we're analyzing legacy, if his career ended today, that 3-time MVP would look crazy. That's all I want to say. I'm not saying he won't rectify it. I'm not saying he'll get better, but I'm saying we have to call it like we see it right now. As we see it right now, a 3-time MVP has not beat a 51 team in the playoffs and has not shown up in significant moments and has 1 chip. That's just a fact. That's a fact.
Luka got robbed.
Can I ask just one question?
Is there debate to that? Can y'all debate me on that if we're talking about in real time?
I'm not
okay, that's all I'm saying then. That's all I'm saying then.
I kind of can. It's like you going to blame him for not being on 50 for not being on 50-win teams, but it's not his fault he hasn't faced them. He should have faced them last year. The 50-win teams didn't get to him in the
No. We're not
going to get to the finals. How are you going to hold that against them when they lost before they got to the finals?
No, it's not holding against because it's not like he's never played them. I'm saying every time he does play one in the playoffs, he loses. And the one time he won a chip, he never played one.
When did he play them?
Every other time he's been in the playoffs. When he goes against the 50-win team, he's been in the playoffs. He's been in the playoffs. I'm not jacking that.
All right, then fundamental different. I feel like last year
the only time Jamal was hurt was 2 years ago. He only had 1 play. No, he only had 1 playoff run without Jamal.
All right.
That's a fact. He's only had 1 playoff run without Jamal. So sure, we could spare him that season. What about the 3 other playoff runs he made where he lost to a 50-win team when Jamal was there?
He was what was their record? Were they a good team at the time?
Yes.
All right, I was looking into that, but I don't remember. I remember last year was the first time Nuggets was really good and was totally healthy. But what I wanted to make the point earlier was what you were saying about LeBron's like legacy, LeBron scoring 45, and how like what you end up saying that like, what Jokic is not enough. To me, is the inverse. I think him having a decent game against a team that shut down his whole team, and like I don't think him having a decent game against a team that did so well against them that they only scored 70 points. That's not enough for me to take that match away from him. This is the inverse of what you're saying. I can't.
Game 7 is though.
Huh?
I say Game 7 is though.
Because the two, I'll give you that. You could argue that, but I don't think
that's a better argument.
Huh?
I agree. That's a better argument than talking about game.
That's a better argument to me too. But I don't think having a decent game in which where your whole team played bad against a team that did historically good defensively is good enough for me to take the best player match away from him. It doesn't make sense to me. I feel like at that point, now where Paul said is just too much now. That don't make sense to me. But that was the last point I wanted to make. We can move on though.
It would have been too much for anybody.
That's the point I'm trying to make. I feel like at this point, we're really nitpicky about our players now.
That's too. Yeah, we go too far, man. We go too far.
I can't believe you're saying that.
I think about that.
Oh, I can't believe you're saying we're being too nitpicky. 7, now.
Remember that? I'm talking about.
I can't believe you're saying we're being too nitpicky now.
Yes,
that's insane.
And that's pretty consistent with me. But I understand why you say that about Paul. But I'm consistent about that. All players.
I believe you're supposed to nitpick for the greatness, but not to that level. That's OD. There's levels. There's levels. I'm talking.
I'm talking about calling someone the best player in the world.
Yeah, that's what we talk about. The Game 7. I'm talking.
Okay, whatever. 7. No, move us past that. Whatever. Now I'm done with debating which game is more important. Right, yeah. If we're talking about the mantle, Paul, you agree with me? He's not the best player in the world anymore.
No, he's not.
He can't be. He can't be. And just for record, just to go to Pharaoh's point, because I was thinking about this, when LeBron had won when LeBron won his third MVP, he had beat he had at least 4 wins against a 50-win team. Jokic is on 3 and he has 0.
And Allen, the reason why I say he can't be the best in the world right now is because it's been so close between like 4 or 5 guys that like
4 or 5 guys.
Yeah, it's been so close.
Who's
I would say
3 or
3 or 4. I would say 3 or 4. 3 or 4.
I would say 2 or 3.
Jokic, Embiid,
Giannis, and Embiid.
Giannis. I'll put a Luka in there. Luka, I'm done with Luka.
No,
Luka. I'm done talking about Luka.
Yeah, that's
Luka.
fair.
I was actually gonna say.
We have to put Embiid up there. I know y'all don't want to hear it, but we have.
No,
to
I said
put
that. I didn't say Embiid.
He said Embiid.
Nah.
You said Embiid. You did.
Luka. All right, Jokic, Embiid, Giannis,
and
Luka. Yeah, I think I said Embiid, right? Yeah, I said
Nah,
Embiid.
so
wins and
Embiid will be 5. Embiid, Giannis, Jokic, Luke. With Embiid, Giannis, Jokic. Yeah, 4. It's 4 guys.
Yeah.
It's 4 guys.
Yeah,
4 guys.
it's all 4. Yeah.
That's it. And they're
And high
Jason
key,
Tatum,
my ranking
Giannis,
of that
Luka.
right now is Luka, Embiid,
I can't give it to Luka yet.
Embiid, Jokic, Giannis.
Why are you giving Embiid that highly? Because of the regular season?
No, Embiid's pretty complete. He can
He's
do it on both
talented,
ends.
but
You know why?
But he doesn't win.
Because if he played enough games, and this will help us transition to the next topic. If he played enough games, he would be one of 2 players to have this stat that only Anthony Davis has, which is another argument where I'm going to talk about how Anthony Davis, if he wasn't on LeBron James's team, there'd be different conversations. They guess who? Because this is what I always talk about when we talk about all time, right? What do I always say Kobe has over LeBron?
Defensive team, all defensive teams.
He's one of the greatest defensive players ever and one of the greatest offensive players ever.
Correct.
He used to routinely for a decade, first team All-NBA, first team All-NBA defense.
Yep.
Thanks.
I'm the best in the world at both. In today's NBA, guess how many players did that?
1.
2.
Guess which player that was?
Oh,
Anthony Davis.
First team All-NBA. Well, not first team. All-NBA.
Multiple
And
Didn't
years.
Giannis do it? Wait a second. Didn't Giannis do it?
Multiple
that's
years.
what I was thinking about. I was thinking about him too. That's why I said.
Wait, no.
Couple years ago.
Are we talking about today?
Today.
Giannis, Anthony Davis did this year?
When you say today, you're talking about this year, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was confused. I was like, there's only been one play. Wait.
No, this year there was only one player that made an All-NBA and an All defense.
Congratulations.
It was
okay.
I'm just saying.
No, that's not true. Didn't Bam Adebayo get All NBA?
Nah, he didn't.
Hell no. I don't know. You bugging.
This year, I know he got all defense.
Mind you, also
Giannis
Giannis has not made an All NBA defense since 2021.
He's been hurt for years. He's been hurt for years.
No, we're not gonna go qualified because he qualified for All NBA. So I don't want to hear.
That's true. That's
he
true.
wasn't playing.
That's fair.
He wasn't playing
That's a
defense.
fair standard.
So that's why Giannis is dropped for me. He's no longer a two-way guy. Brooke Lopez and Mike Budenholzer's defensive scheme is gone, and all of a sudden this guy don't know how to play defense anymore. Interesting.
So you completely discount Jokic's shit then?
No, why would you say that?
Not completely, but like for the best of the NBA right now, you basically saying it doesn't matter anymore because he's not.
Not really.
I gotta think. This is a whole different conversation.
Guys, get one chip. Was Dirk the best player in the world when he got his chip in 2011?
He was up there, boy. that playoff run.
But was he the best? No.
I'll give it to Kobe over him. I'm not giving it to LeBron.
Right. Agreed. That's my point. One chip. Come on now. And that's what I'm starting to feel about Giannis. Because after he got that one chip, he hasn't made a defensive team since. His teams have flamed out in the second round. So
I say the throne is vacant. I can't give it to Luka.
I agree. The throne is vacant, which is why, again, talking in real time, if you had to ask me today in real time, it's Luka. Because what I said before, he's the best player we still see playing.
I can't
Right?
give to Luka yet.
He's
He
the
is
best player who's still playing
Absolutely.
today.
He has a
Correct.
chance to win it. You better win the chip this year, bro.
He's the best player still
Now what
playing
happens?
today.
What happens if what
Tatum.
happens
I'm looking at both of them right now. Him and Tatum. This is the best opportunity in a long time for Luka.
if Anthony now for Paul? I want to hear you say this. If the Celtics win and Jason Tatum goes crazy, even if he doesn't go crazy, let's just say he has a moderate Jason Tatum game. He averages 25 and 8
Not
and 6.
enough. Not good enough.
Not good enough. Okay.
I agree.
I have to be consistent. If we're talking best player in the world, that man has to be Finals MVP, averaging 30.
Okay.
Yeah.
If it's debatable who Final MVP is between him and Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum's not the best player in the world.
Yep.
I agree.
Damn.
I agree.
I'm consistent, man. Listen, when we talk about great, I get real lean because I think greatness is greatness, and I think Jason Tatum is a great player. If we talk about best in the world, my standard goes above everyone because I've seen what the best in the world looks like, and it's head and shoulders. It's head and shoulders.
But that's why right now I can't say head and shoulders Luka's better than everybody.
Everyone is just that good right now that you got to change up like your standard.
No. It just means everyone is good. It means everyone is good, and there hasn't been a player since LeBron took a step back that has shown themselves to be head and shoulders better than everyone in the league.
That's honestly,
that's just a fact.
I don't know if we have a best player in the league.
You just have no best player in the world then. And
I think that. I
agree.
That. But people don't want to say that. I think that, but people. I think there's no one you could actually make a strong enough argument for that's better than everyone else in the world. That's my personal belief.
Correct.
I think it's been vacant since LeBron stepped down. I think that's shown by the fact that it's been a one and done chip era. Yeah, no player has stepped up to say, I'm better than all you.
We haven't seen this in a long time.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Agreed.
Maybe we just spoiled as a
we haven't seen this since like the 70s.
It's not spoiled. Like we're being consistent.
We're used to a higher level of basketball.
Giannis gets it. He's the best player in the world. Giannis gets it. He's the best player in the world. Jokic gets it. He's the best player in the world.
Yeah, you're right.
This is what I'm saying, bro. These guys really aren't showing me they're better than everybody.
Since the 70s, we haven't seen this. Like literally since like in the 80s, it was Magic Larry, and then you had the Trailblazers in there. You have
this is parody.
This
is what parody looks like.
It's also kind of like those super teams now. That's a big part of it.
Hello?
No, that's not what it is.
I don't know about that because there weren't really super teams in the 2010s and the 2000s.
I didn't hear.
I'm sorry, the 2000s. There were.
I said that's also like indicative because there's no not just super teams, but also there's not a lot of how do I say it like we're not seeing no Kobe and Shaq anymore.
I disagree.
Hold on. Wait. Let me respond to that because I have a very poignant to make to that. That's because all these superstar duos, not one of those superstar duos is on the level of either a Kobe or Shaq. Super teams are super teams because they have 3 all-stars. Super teams are super teams because you have a best player in the world candidate and another all-star. LeBron and Kyrie and Kevin Love were a super team because LeBron was LeBron. And he had players of the caliber of Kyrie and LeBron and Kevin Love. That doesn't exist today. If Jokic was who 3-time MVP says he should be, the Nuggets would be a super team. Because you have Jokic with a player of the caliber of Jamal Murray. Giannis,
I don't know about that. We got to talk about Jamal Murray.
The Bucks would be a super team. If the Bucks would be a super
Murray, I don't like that.
But Jamal Murray has not even made an All-Star game. Jamal Murray has made his bones in the playoffs.
Jamal Murray hasn't played well this series. They just lost.
That's also true. That's
we
also
got to
true.
talk about
They wouldn't. You're right. They wouldn't. You're right. They
No.
wouldn't. The Bucks would be a super team if Giannis was head and shoulders better.
Now, I'm gonna say this. Keep an eye on the Nuggets because there is a very real chance. And by very real chance, I mean I made this chance up in my head. Watch out. Watch out for Kevin Durant to the Nuggets.
Oh my God.
Watch out for Kevin Durant to the Nuggets. Because that solves that question. That solves that problem.
But going back to what I said, at the time when Kobe and Shaq played, they were like top 15
They're
players.
the 2 best players. They're the 2 best players in the league, without a doubt.
The 2 best in the league, like 1 and 2?
100%. 100%. 1 and 2.
Top three.
Okay. Who's number 3? Tim?
Tim, yeah, you got to throw Tim in there.
Yeah.
Okay, but my point is, like, let's just expand at the top 15. We don't see 2 top 15 players in the league on the same team together, too. That's also why it's very hard to, like, it's very hard to win more than one championship.
Well, I don't know about that because I would say LeBron. I'd say the Lakers have.
Well, hold on. To keep this topic going, we could literally analyze that based on the All NBA teams. So third team, Allen, you had KD, Book, Kyrie, PG, Kawhi. Dre, you had Curry, KD, Paolo, PG, Wemby. Paul, you had Booker, AD, Fox, Curry, LeBron. I had Book, Kyrie, Ant, Tyrese, and Wemby. I had the best third team predictions because the third team was, if my computer stops being Nikola Jokic.
Oh. That was crazy.
He hates this guy.
Who's the best player of that series? Out of curiosity.
Ready? It was Devin. The third team was Devin Booker, Curry, Halliburton. Oh no, sorry. I had the best second team. I think Paul had the best third team. Booker, Curry, Halliburton, LeBron, DeMontis. So Paul had Booker, Curry, and LeBron. So Paul had the best third team prediction. Reactions to third team?
I have no reactions.
Can I get the names one more time?
Booker, Curry, Halliburton, LeBron, Sabonis. So I can already tell you off that there are 2 teams in the league that have 2 top 15
That's
players.
That's correct.
Right?
And neither of them advanced.
Because neither of those 2 teams has a player that's top 5 anymore.
Correct.
Because that's what actually makes a super team. A top 5 player and then another top 15 player. Right? So
honestly, it's really top 5 and top 5.
Let me get this out. No. That's a different level. But let me get this out.
Just think about it.
Let me just get this out. Second team All-NBA. Allen, you had Brunson, AD, LeBron, Ant, Jaylen Brown. Dre, you had Giannis, LeBron, AD, Ant, Kawhi. Paul, you had Maxey, Cat, Kawhi, KD, Ant. And I had AD, Brunson, LeBron, Sabonis, and Kevin Durant. I had the best second team prediction because it was Brunson, AD, KD, Ant, Kawhi. I'm really shocked Kawhi made it to second team. That's really crazy, to be honest. But yeah, so off the bat, you have 2. The Suns and the Lakers both had 2 players in the top 15, but not a single first team All-NBA player. And I don't think you can have a super team without 1 first team All-NBA player.
Now go back for 1 second, right? We're talking about super team. You need a top 5 player and a top 15 player. I think a true super team, you need 2 top 5 players. And the reason why I say that,
No, that's an all-time historic team.
Yeah, but those are all. I guess, but
when I think about the Heat were a super team. The Heat were a super team, right?
And they had 2 top 5 players.
Dwayne was not top 5 player at that time.
Yes, he was.
No.
When they joined up, yes, he was.
Yes, when he joined
up,
yes.
When he joined up, he was.
Oh yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Kevin Durant
dropped him out of it very quickly.
Those were 2 and 3, like legit 2 and 3. Kobe and Shaq for sure. 1 and 2 or 2 and 3.
Nah, but when he went there, top 3 would have been LeBron,
Kobe, Dwayne Wade,
Carmelo,
Dwayne Wade.
Carmelo. You got to talk about Carmelo.
Melo's number 4.
You got to talk about Dwight.
Dwight's number 5.
I mean, if you just want to say top 5, yeah, like LeBron, Kobe.
You want to say top 5? That's
Carmelo,
fine.
Chris Paul, or Dwight. Like that's it right there.
Yeah, that's correct.
So you need 2 top 5 players to be a real super team.
That era, it was cemented. Like who's at the top? Like for real. Like that era.
Wait. 2010 was there Rose top 5?
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Was Chris Paul top 5? Was Chris Paul top 5?
No.
I did say Chris
He's top 10.
Yeah. I said
top 10.
Chris Paul might have been top 5, bro.
Yeah, I did say
that's what I'm
2010? In 2010?
If you say top 7, that's it.
Hell yeah.
He's top 7 for sure. But it doesn't change the fact Dwayne Wade is solidified up there in the top 5.
Yeah, Dwayne Wade was top 5 in 2010 for a fact.
He's solidified. There's no way he's out.
Correct. So I mean, I might agree with you. Yeah, a super team is 2 top 5 players playing. Sure.
And we don't have that. Now we might. There's a very, very good chance that we see. I mean, Kevin Durant's not top 5. But there's a very, very good chance we see somebody go back and take that formula. There might be some off-season movement this year.
I don't think so.
But he's
done for that.
Yeah, but I don't even want to talk about that. That's annoying because let's talk about the first team.
Okay.
Alan, we were all right except Dre. I don't know, you bugged out.
I didn't
We
bug
all
out.
had.
I
we
know
all
who I
had-
picked, and I
we
stand
all
on 10
had-
toes on
we
that.
all had Luka, Shea, Jokic, Giannis, and Tatum, except for Dre, who took
Switch Giannis and
Giannis out
Brunson.
and put Brunson, which is crazy. And that was
That's not
that
that
was the
crazy.
first five.
That's
So
not that
so
crazy.
so if we just go on that to tie all the conversation together, if we just go off that, yes, the best player in the world is going to come out of these top five, and the two players remaining are Jokic and Tatum. I mean, Luka and Tatum.
This is gonna be the rival. This has to be the rivalry.
This is what it is for the league. The one and done era is over with Giannis and Jokic and AD. Their draft class is done, in my opinion.
When did AD get one? Like, when was he the final? No, I know when he got one, but he wasn't the best player on the team when he got one.
It was debatable, and this is a larger
It wasn't
conversation about.
debatable.
This is a larger conversation
It
I want to
wasn't
have
debatable.
one day. Hold on, it was. This is a larger conversation. I'll show you the stats. It's a larger
I
conversation.
don't care
wanna
about
have
the stats.
about. I mean, I'm a Laker fan. And I'm telling you this. I watched the series live.
I watched
As a fan, we can talk about how AD playing with LeBron helped him get a ring, but all time, in terms of his legacy, I don't know if it helped or hurt.
It hurt
Who AD playing with LeBron? Oh, it hurt for sure.
for sure.
It hurts.
I don't know.
It
I
hurts,
don't know about that.
it hurts a lot of guys.
No, it's debatable because he got a ring because of it.
Yeah.
What was
Okay,
he doing
fair enough,
before
fair enough.
LeBron?
No, fair enough. Fair enough.
He was arguably a top 5 player.
He was getting great numbers. He was showing a lot of
He was
ability.
arguably a top 5 player. He wasn't going anywhere. Yeah, that's why it's a toss up because it's like he got with
Right.
LeBron and he won, but from that year on, we have not talked about him as a top 5 player ever again.
Fair enough.
And we probably won't until he gets another
Until-
guy that's got a running mate.
Wait,
Until he gets what?
if whoever wins this year doesn't win next year, are we still in the one and done era? So it's
No,
Yeah,
we
I
are
don't
still.
know.
I don't know.
disagree with that
We
take.
can't say the one and
I
done
disagree
era
with
is
that
done.
I disagree with that.
I think it is because I think unlike the Bucks and the Nuggets, remember when y'all told me back then that the Nuggets were set up for a dynasty, and I told you they absolutely were not. And I told you it's because y'all are only looking at the top 5, their starters, and you're not looking at the rest of the roster. Exactly what happened this year is what I said. They let Bruce Brown walk out the door. They let Jeff Green walk out the door.
Yep.
They let Jeff Green walk out the door. They did not retain the important rotation of their championship core. And what happened? When Jokic can't get a bucket, the rest of the team, MPJ didn't have it going. They didn't have enough. The same thing with the Bucks. They let PJ Tucker walk out the door. They let Bobby Portis walk out the door. They got him back. They got him back, but they let him walk out the door. They did not set themselves up to win. The Lakers, same thing. We let Alex Caruso walk out the door. We let KCP walk out the door.
He got out the bubble too.
Stop it, man.
I don't rate that shit.
Whatever. We don't need to go back and forth on it. I don't see the same thing with the way the Celtics are set up, with the way that the Mavs are set up. They are set up to keep their cores together for a good amount of years. They don't have any contract issues. Derek White locked up. KP locked up. Jaylen Brown locked up. Drew Holiday, they got him. They extended him. Jason Tatum eligible for extension again this year. They have a run in them if they get over the hump this year. Mavericks, we gotta see, but Kyrie is locked up. Luka is locked up. PJ Washington playing for an extension right now, and he's going to get it.
Yes.
Okay, so
Derek Lively on a rookie contract. Dale Gafford locked up.
So one and done is not specifically about the championship.
One and done is not over.
I am talking about championships. I think the winner of the chip this year is set up to go on a run.
I can't say that. Because I don't think the role players
actually
the way the rosters are constructed. Because I said the same thing about the Timberwolves. If the Timberwolves climb out of this hole, their roster is constructed to go on a run.
Correct. They are. We're entering the era of complete teams. But that's why the one and done era is not going to be over, because there are a lot of presently well constructed teams that are not going to be subject to the bumps and waves and all this other stuff that happens throughout an NBA season. They're built to endure, right? And you have specifically with the Timberwolves anyway. The problem with the Timberwolves is they were designed to build a very specific team that they met earlier than anticipated.
You know why I'm saying one and done? It's not just that the same teams aren't winning. It's that since 2020, the reigning champion hasn't got past the second round.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by run. Because when the Warriors dynasty, they didn't win every year, but they were in the finals almost every year.
Every year.
Almost all their losses outside of that play-in year and last year, they were losing in the finals.
It's about the chips for me though, because
I know, but when we're talking about a dynasty, if you're losing in between chips, if you're not even getting back to the finals, I have no confidence that you're going to be a dynasty. Like the fact that the Bucks lost in the second round the year after, I was like, I don't think they're making it back, and they haven't. The fact that the Nuggets just lost in the second round, I don't think they're making it back.
They're not. Well, I don't know about that.
Did you believe that this whole year? You thought that this whole? You thought they weren't going to?
I thought they were making it back. I thought they were going to
make
it
it
back.
I did not. Straight up. I didn't think the Bucks were making it back that next year either. I knew the Celtics were going to the finals that year, right? Whereas when those Warriors teams lost, you knew they were going back. When those Cavs teams lost, you knew they were going back. When those Spurs teams lost, you knew they were going back. When those Lakers teams lost, you knew they were going back.
Well, I'll say this, right? I think I disagree with the fact that you're saying the role players are the reason why.
That's not. I'm talking about roster construction. There's a method to going on a run in terms of roster construction. It's not even just about the role players. It's about how contracts are set up, timing wise. Like you have to have,
But you're only talking about role players. Like
because that's what I was pointing out on the teams that aren't doing that. That's like the only thing. But on the teams that aren't doing that, those were their roster construction failures. Their roster construction failures were with their role players, but it could be with star players too.
I can't, but it hasn't been, and I don't think that they're failures if they're not the reason why they don't. Like if Jamal Murray's gonna play like this, Bruce Brown and Jeff Green could be there. They're still not winning the chip.
That's a fact.
You see what I'm saying? So if Giannis is gonna be injured.
And he played
they're
really
not winning the
bad
chip.
too.
2 years like that after the chip, they're not winning the chip. If who else? You already know what I feel about that 2020 chip. Again, like
But Giannis wasn't hurt two years ago, and they got bounced.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
2 years ago, and they got bounced.
Yes,
he was. Chris Middleton.
Miami.
No,
Yes,
he
he
wasn't.
was.
2 years ago.
Chris Middleton.
2 years ago, Dre.
It wasn't Giannis.
2 years ago. 2 years ago.
Chris Middleton.
Chris Middleton was
just like how Jamal Murray wasn't playing well, Chris Middleton wasn't even there. So I look at the stars when it gets this deep and injuries, of course.
No, because dynasties survive injuries.
Not of your best player.
Yes. Ready. Here we go. I'll go back through them, and not even just for the winning dynasties. I'm talking about teams that went on a run. Right.
All right.
Steph Curry 2018, Steph Curry 2017, Steph Curry 2016, KD 2018. Okay, now we can talk about the Cavs. Kyrie 2015, Kevin Love 2017. Right? We can go back to the Spurs.
The Cavs. Wait a second. Cavs were not a dynasty.
What did I just say before?
And teams that going around.
Oh, and the teams are going around. Okay, all right.
Teams that are built for runs survive injuries to their stars.
But those teams that are built,
Lakers in the 2010s, Andrew Bynum.
Hold on.
I'm just naming examples, bro.
I know, but the teams that you're talking about, this is a crazy list because you're like they're surviving. They're surviving because they have top 10 all-time players.
Yeah.
LeBron James, Stephen Curry,
I'm not
Kobe
debating
Bryant.
that. I'm not debating.
So like it's not they're not surviving because of injuries or whatever. The injuries, like the players on those teams are legendary. And we don't have any legendary players right now in the league.
No, but they're built to survive an injury to their player.
Not to the star player though. If LeBron or Kobe
got injured, it's over.
No, not your best player, but if one of your stars Jokic didn't get hurt. If one of your stars is missing, the teams that have made runs have been able to survive those series until that player gets healthy.
That Jokic isn't that guy.
If one of the top two players get injured, they're not, unless you're Jordan or somebody like that, you're not winning the chip.
I just named it. The Cavs.
LeBron.
The Cavs went to I'm just saying the Cavs went to the finals, surviving injuries to Kyrie. The Warriors went to the finals, surviving injuries to Curry. The Lakers.
Wait. You talking about when they got KD?
and before,
That's
and
different.
before
That's
in
different.
2016,
Two legendary
and
players.
and before he got hurt
Curry got injured
in 2015 and 2016. Yes,
what was his injury? I don't remember that.
Nah,
His
man.
hand injury was a little hand injury.
You mean when he was still playing
Yes.
no, he came back. He came back. He missed games.
in the playoffs?
Yes.
I
People don't remember runs, man.
remember
The
that.
Warriors survived injuries to Curry during playoff runs.
Was he banged up or was he out?
He was out. He missed games.
Did he miss any games in the finals?
No, but that's
We're
his point.
talking. We're talking about getting there. I'm talking about surviving a series and getting there. That's what I'm talking about. So that's what I'm saying. Roster construction. That's been the problem with the Lakers. The Lakers haven't been able to survive one of AD or LeBron getting hurt for the playoffs.
I think that was a different league too. There was less parity.
Yeah, there
Sure.
was.
Sure.
This is
But
probably
anyway.
the most parity we've seen in years.
Since the 70s.
I agree, but I think part of that is because there's no player that's head and shoulders above.
Correct. This is why
That eliminates
there's no-
parity. When there's a player that's head and shoulders above the league, that eliminates parity because no one has that. Right? There are 5 teams that feel like they have that guy. And
Yes.
and that's who the first team is. All 5 of those teams feel like they have that guy.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll say this. What's I think the best thing for the league is when you have a combination of a definitive best player and parity, like in the 90s, where you had like the Bulls had Jordan, and the Bulls were that nice leaps and bounds because of Jordan, but everybody, the Knicks felt like they had a chance, the Pacers felt like they had a chance because it was like Jordan.
I don't care to debate you on that, but I could, but I don't have.
We low-key had that debate on here, but
yeah,
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Luka and Tatum are on a collision course, and I think that's the era. I mean, because Tatum has been knocking on the door anyway, which is why I think I think his career arc is for best player in the world because this is how it usually goes, right? Like the young guy knocking on the door for a couple years, and then finally getting through, right? Like
I don't know if that's just LeBron's story because that's also Jordan.
LeBron.
That's also Jordan.
Kobe.
But when Jordan did it, he was like going toe to toe with great. No, not Kobe.
You guys forget that the Lakers were in the playoffs when Kobe got drafted, and he was an important player on those teams that lost before they won in the finals. Kobe had to ascend for them to win.
That's true. But he wasn't knocking on the door yet. I felt like his.
I know, but what I'm saying is, when you're on the arc of being the best player, being a young player who has to crack through is a part of it.
When you get somebody who's better than you, I can't.
Yeah, okay.
I can't compare that.
When you say it like that, I agree.
Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown, what?
When you say you can't compare when someone's arguably better than you on your team, but you still have to crack through yourself.
I don't think that's what's going on with Tatum, though. I think the Celtics are lucky. I'm not gonna hold you. I think
you can say the Lakers were lucky in the fact that they traded for Shaq and then immediately drafted Kobe.
Yeah, they were.
Why do you think the Celtics are lucky?
Because they every team they played against had serious injuries.
This year when
they had the best team they ever had. Please,
no. Yeah, they've been making this every year.
That's what I'm saying, bro. This is their 5th Eastern Conference Finals in his career. He's been knocking on the door. He's been knocking on the door.
Now he's on the. I also have smoke for him.
Now, what I'll say is Luka in the last 3 years has also got on that trajectory because this is his 2nd conference finals. So he's also sort of making his progression of cracking through, right? Yeah. And that's why we'll see who cracks through first.
Also say this: if Luka wins this year, we got to have a bigger conversation about the greatness of Kyrie and how he's able to turn these teams.
Please don't get me started.
I'm serious. We really
don't
do.
Get me started.
We have to talk about how great he is. We have to talk about how great he is and how he's able to turn these teams into legendary teams.
What Kyrie is realizing is what he fought with in his ego back with the Cavs.
Yes.
The reason why he thought I might be good enough that I should try to test myself as the best player on a championship team is because he's the best second player ever. He is the modern Scottie Pippen. He's the modern Scottie Pippen. He is in this era. Well, no, but there's a difference. when Kobe was in that spot, his realization was not I'm the second best player. I'm arguably the best player, which is why we might have to split up because I need to test myself to see if I could do it. And he proved it to himself. Kyrie was thinking the same thing, and I think he learned with his Celtics experience, I'm not that guy, but I am the best second best player ever.
Yeah.
Now Scotty will have the rings on him, right? I think if Kyrie never tried to test it out, which I respect him for doing it, he'd also have the rings. So I think Kyrie is the best second best player talent-wise of all time. He is the best possible player you can have as the second best player on your team.
Kyrie.
I'm not. I don't disagree with you at all. I just want to make an interesting point. I think because Luka's clearly suffering to an injury, I think Kyrie is going to be like the first, like second player guy. There's a chance he could win Finals MVP if they.
There's a big chance.
He won't.
There's a big chance. He won't. There's a chance.
It could be wishful thinking for me, but
you know why?
I'm just saying there's a chance.
We can tie this to AD. AD is the product of cracking through to get your ring with the guy that's better than you, and then not leaving.
Yep.
Because AD, I think, was going to try to be on the path of the second best player ever, which he arguably would have been. But he caught LeBron too late.
Yep.
And now he's in a spot where he really should be on his own, seeing if he's the championship team, but he can't. But the
difference is, and here's the other difference: AD to LeBron, and I don't mean to say this in a disrespectful way, but AD is the sidekick learning from the mentor. Luka and Kyrie is the mentor teaching him, and it's more like, oh man, I'm watching this young guy grow, and he's going to surpass me. So there's a difference in pride and relationship where like Kyrie doesn't have to leave. Kyrie can stay with the Mavericks for the rest of his career and have this amazing success. So it's not the same thing. He will go if he does stay and they keep winning. He will be the greatest second player ever.
Mark Cuban better
pay
give
him.
Kyrie a bag.
He did.
He's locked in. He's locked in.
He got extended last year. He was a free agent. Everyone forgets that.
Right.
Oh yeah.
This is what I'm saying about roster construction. The Mavs have it locked in.
Rip up the contract. Jalen Brunson.
No, it wasn't crazy, but it was 100+.
Rip it up. Give him 200.
Because now you have the money. No, because now you have the money. Now you have the money to lock up Lively.
I'm kidding.
No, but I'm saying they did it smart. Now you have the money to lock up PJ Washington, lock up Lively, lock up Gafford, lock up Josh Green, lock up Derrick Jones, right? Like you had the money to lock this in.
That's a fact.
Another good point about roster construction, we're watching the 4 teams remaining are all teams that made incredible moves in the last 2 years to put this up. I think that's really important.
Yes.
Really important.
And the last thing I'm going to say is if the Timberwolves take out the Mavs and the Celtics advance, the Timberwolves are also built to kill the Celtics.
Disagree.
I don't disagree.
Disagree. You know why? Because of what Luka did last night.
What do you mean? Oh, that's true.
The Celtics would love to run pick and roll top, let you switch, and let Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown eat Gobert up all night. Pause.
Yo.
Hey.
Yo.
Wait a minute.
French croissant with butter on it.
Hey.
Y'all think the Celtics have any chance without Porzingis?
Yeah.
Yeah, they got a chance to make it to the finals.
The
Pacers are lit. I'm not gonna lie.
Not against the Pacers. I'm talking about winning it all.
Yes, because I don't.
I'm glad we can all agree that the Pacers
against the Timberwolves, maybe not against the Mavs. Yes, because you don't need to punish the Mavs in the paint. You can beat the Mavs in the perimeter.
Agreed.
Now, and defensively, I think Al Horford can hang in as good as you can against all those lob threats. Because the Timberwolves have all the bigs. The Timberwolves have all the bigs in the world, and they can't stop those lob threats really. So I don't think it would have made much of a difference.
All I'm gonna say is, you saw Game 1. Jason Tatum at the end of that game, the end of regulation, was throwing turnovers like.
And what did he do in OT?
Yeah, he felt comfortable because the Pacers were.
You just put so much sauce on your Tatum takes that you don't give to other players, bro.
That was nasty.
That was gross,
That
man.
was nasty.
And
Hold
on, did he have like one field goal? Yeah, like one field goal in OT, right?
No, he took over in OT.
No, he got fouled like 4 times.
Oh, you're saying you mean literally one field goal.
Field goal, yes.
Look at, but we nitpick too much, is what you said earlier. I want to chop this.
Yeah,
episode.
that's a fact.
I'm gonna chop this episode up because you talked about nitpicking, and now you're gonna talk about he had one field goal.
You, Paul. He got you.
Listen,
you're ridiculous, bro. You're ridiculous.
That's why I act like people not putting.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Conversation.
Oh my god,
people don't do that.
What?
People
don't put based on the way you just didn't want to nitpick Jokic when we were talking about him as best player. I'm not gonna nitpick and talk about field goals. No, but I did though. I did though. I'm not gonna talk. You told me I was nitpicking to astronomical levels.
That's a crazy take.
Yes, you were. You were. I was talking about game 7.
And you're not talking about field goals versus free throws. And you're not talking about field goals versus free throws.
Now he got you, Paul.
You're bugging. You're bugging.
You're nitpicking right now too. You're right.
You're nitpicking crazy.
And you be nitpicking for Jason Tatum a lot, bro.
We should nitpick
respectfully
best players, but not.
Wait, we should or we shouldn't?
We should, but to a certain extent.
Thank you for joining us this week for Fast Breaks podcast.
And you think field goals versus free throws is not an.
That's a big deal. That's a big deal.
The only person that makes a difference for is James Harden.
Left and right. Go get your points.
You have to be aggressive. You have to be aggressive and a threat to score to get fouled. That's why you get fouled.
That's how you got them fouls.
Because they can't stop you. Because they can't stop you.
I think one of those were like take fouls. The Pacers just collapsed in game 1.
Because they're not built.
It
should be the Knicks versus the Celtics right now, but they had 67 injuries.
That's what happened,
bro.
And all you Knicks fans know that's true too. But let's go.
The Pacers are not as sweet as people think. They're not that bad.
No, they're not.
They're not as sweet. No, they're not.
The Pacers are sweet. You thought the Pacers were sweet, Paul.
Yes, I did. And I was wrong.
No one on this pod thought the Pacers were sweet.
I was wrong. I was wrong.
I'm not gonna front.
You still would have beat them if we were healthier, but yeah.
Now if we were healthy,
I told you they had champions over there on that team. Y'all didn't want to hear me.
They have champions.
And our champions
too.
Well, our champion, one of our champions were injured. So
we got champion over here too. Champion.
2. Dante. Shout out Dante.
Oh, Dante, that's true, my boy.
Yeah. He didn't play, but he got a ring though.
Your boy, you're so nice.
Yeah, Jason Tatum, 36 points. A lot of that in OT. He had 36 points and 12 rebounds. I don't think we rate Jason Tatum's rebounding in this playoff.
No, his rebounding.
Yeah, he's been rebounding.
I don't want to make this like a whole conversation, but I'm starting to realize I think Jason Tatum is starting to I don't know how to put it, but he's starting to get suffer from being like a top 10 player, but not top 5 while being on a good team. Does that make sense? What I'm saying?
Yes.
It's starting to.
Yes. We're starting to look at his lack of production as a negative instead of the fact that he is enabling his team to play well.
I think it's gonna hurt him in the finals.
I don't think so. See, I think a flip is about to get switched. I think you know what it is? No team has they haven't played a team that has required him to flip the switch, which I think is smart of him. He's saving it for when they need it.
But I think
that whatever team they play in the finals, it's going to require him to flip the switch.
I think the Boston team is so good that he hasn't had to flip the switch, and it's making everybody question him too.
I think that's not good that he hasn't had to flip it.
Why?
I think it's not good that he hasn't been. He hasn't been starting
to think like that.
You said what?
That's what I'm starting to realize. People are seeing. A lot of people are saying it's not good. I guess
he's not getting challenged, and then he's going to be hit with an avalanche of elite,
But the only reason,
you know what I mean?
The only reason I disagree with that is because it's not like he never has. Right? And this is what's so interesting because this is the opposite. This is the opposite of what they said about Jordan. Jordan had to learn to pull back a little bit, right? I think we're so used to LeBron. The LeBron narrative was you need to push forward more. And so we're watching Tatum pull back, And we're like, no, you need to push forward more. But no, he's more of a Kobe Jordan era where he had to actually learn to pull back. And he's doing that this year, and it's resulting in them sweeping through the playoffs.
Yeah,
and now we want to hold it against him. Now we want to hold it against him because he's properly learned.
Because of the players are injured, dropping like flies on the teams he's playing against.
That is true. That's why the
we
real
didn't hold that against Curry. We didn't hold that against Curry. We didn't hold that against Curry.
Some people do.
Some people definitely did. Some people.
I don't know if this pod did. I don't know if this pod did or not. I wasn't here.
He said I'm hungry.
I know a lot of people didn't hold that against
people on this podcast, formerly on this podcast, held it against him.
So anyway, he had a rough shooting night 2 nights ago, but Jaylen Brown stepped up. Paul's gonna say he saved him. I say Jaylen Brown just did his job.
Jaylen Brown's been balling. You can't even hold it. He's been balling.
He has been.
Jaylen Brown's looking like Kobe on those Laker teams.
Yes, he is. Yes,
doing his job. Doing his job.
Stepping up.
Being the best player on the floor when you need to.
Hitting the man in the corner when it counts the most.
Being the best player on the floor when you need to be. That's what the second best player is supposed to do. That's what Kyrie does for Luka.
That's what Kyrie does. Kyrie said as much too.
When you need me to be the best player on the floor, I'll go do that. It's not saving you. It's doing my job. Otherwise, Kobe saved Shaq all those years where they were hacking at Shaq. But we don't say that. No one would ever say that, right?
We should.
Ha!
That Kobe saved Shaq. It's kind of funny. But saved him from what? Is Shaq his top 5 player?
All those fourth quarters where Shaq couldn't be on the floor because they were going to foul him.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying like saved his legacy. But like, I don't know. Can you save someone from being like he would have been like what top 20 instead of top 15?
Whatever. I'm just saying. That's why I don't like the save narrative because that's your job as the second best player. When I need someone else to be the best player on the floor, you go do that. That's your job. That's the job of a second superstar, and that's what Jaylen Brown did 2 nights ago. Amazing game. But let's talk about last night real quick to wrap it up. Luka Magic. We need a better nickname for him. Luka Magic is trash.
Luka the Don.
I like Luka.
I like that.
That's another one. That's another one that people use.
I like
Luka. I like that one too. That's better than Luka Magic for sure.
The Mavs looked like they were dead in the water. It looked like they were going to do a classic. We already stole one. We don't really need this one. Let's pack it up.
They didn't.
But they didn't because guess who didn't let them? Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving with the late third quarter and fourth quarter run brings the team back. They get the lead and gives enough time while Luka was dead hurt in the locker room. He let his man heal up to come in, and he only had one field goal in the fourth quarter, but it was the most important one of the game. Yes. It was the pseudo game winner, the walk-off. Give me your quick thoughts on this series so far. 2-0 going back to Dallas.
Luka said that Kyrie, if anybody knows comic books, this is a really important thing. Luka said that Kyrie is the Batman of this team. And what that means is Kyrie lays the foundation. Kyrie is the standard. Kyrie helps create everything. But anybody knows Nightwing is the best version of Batman. And that's presently what's happening in comics. That's presently what's happening in the – yes, he is. Have you read the current Nightwing storyline that's going on right now?
Not the current, but are you talking about Nightwing taking up the mantle of Batman, or are you trying to say Nightwing is the best Batman?
No, Nightwing is like Batman created Nightwing to be the best version of himself. God.
But he's not Batman, he's Nightwing.
Yeah, I know.
All the who's in the plot?
Listen, everything that Batman stands for, Nightwing embodies plus more. The ideal version of a superhero, it's Nightwing.
An ideal version of a superhero for Gotham.
Correct.
I can agree with that. No, correct. I think Kyrie is Batman and Luka is Superman.
I was about to say that.
Oh, you think
I think they're
Justice League.
Yeah, it's not a Batman Robin scenario. It's Justice League.
I think it's a Batman Robin scenario. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna front.
Nah, no one's Robin in this.
Who's Tim Hartley?
Because Batman ain't never told Robin.
Hey, Aquaman.
Batman ain't never told Robin to clear it. Batman ain't never sent Robin on a solo mission to kill.
That's not true at all.
Every time Robin went on a solo mission, he almost died.
That's not true.
Yes, it is.
Nah, you got to go read the current comic run, bro. You got to go read it. It's great.
But you're talking about Robin once he evolved. I'm talking about Robin as Robin, which is what people mean when they say Batman and Robin.
That's
young
not what
boy
I mean.
Robin. Every time he went on a solo mission, he almost died. The only Robin that could solo was Damian, and he wasn't even really Robin for real.
No, that's not Robin for real.
That's what I'm
That's
saying.
not Robin for real.
That was the only Robin that could really solo.
I don't know if that's true.
Bro, come on.
No, I really got to think about that. I really
By
gotta
the
think about
time,
that.
by the time Tim Drake could Tim Drake never could solo. But by the
No.
time what's
Jason
the
Todd
first
can solo.
when he solo when he became Red Hood.
Red Hood.
Yeah, Red Hood. Whenever they can solo, they take the Robin mantle off because they know Robin is not meant to
That's the
solo.
point. That's the point. That's the point.
But that's what I'm saying. Robin
But that's
never
what
solos.
I'm not calling Luca Robin. I'm calling him Nightwing.
I'm calling Luca Superman. That's what I'm saying.
I understand. And for the record, they just gave Nightwing Superman powers 2 issues ago, but that's a different story.
That seems gratuitous, but I'll let it rock. Any thoughts about how this series is gonna go? Let's talk a little series predictions for the playoffs before we get out of here.
The Mavs look like they're taking this. They look like they might be sweeping these guys.
Tell me why. Do some breakdown, Coach.
Because they are Paul, go first.
I never said that.
Oh, okay, so then
I
I'll
never
say
said they're gonna-
because
they-
they expose. Listen, the fact is they can't figure out a defensive scheme to contain both Kyrie and Luka. I don't know if there's a defensive scheme that works, and the fact that arguably best defensive player can get hunted like this is a big exposure in the defense. But also, I think I saw a stat that said Ant has gone 17 of 57 in the last 5 games or something. They gotta fix that. They gotta fix that.
He's had 3 bad games in a row.
He's tired. He's never played this long before.
Yeah, it's a fact. He's got to figure it out because if he doesn't, they're not advancing. They need him to be the best player on their team.
These are like Kobe's air balls in Utah.
Yeah.
I say that I don't know who's gonna win because that Timberwolves Nuggets series have you fooled. So look, there's so much parity in the league. These teams are evenly matched as well.
Wait, why did it have you fooled? Because the team that won those first 2 games on the road ended up winning the series.
It went to 7 games. The Nuggets won 3 in a row. When they won 3 in a row,
it may still go to 7, but I think when you start a series off and you take the team out in their first 2 games at home, I think it's mentally hard to recover from that.
the reason I was so scared of the Knicks Pacers series game 7 because anything could happen. Anything in a game 7. Once it hits game 7 to me, I'm watching all right, let's go. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know who's gonna win. I don't know how they're gonna win. Once it reaches the 7th game, anybody can win.
But who usually wins a game 7?
Doesn't matter.
The best player on the floor.
The home team. The home team actually.
No, the best player on the floor.
The best player on the floor. I agree.
The home team wins
And the
7
Mavs have that. I understand that, but I'm saying what corresponds with that is the best player on the floor. And that's going to be Luka. That's going to be Luka. And that's what I was saying about Jokic, not to harken back, but Jokic was not the best player on the floor too many times in that series. That's why I had confidence in the Timberwolves in game 7. Because you've shown us that too many times in this series, you may not be the best player on the floor. So in game 7, I have a sneaky feeling you're not going to be the best player on the floor.
Who's the best player for game 7?
The home team.
Who's the best player on the floor for game 7?
Ant.
And he went 6 for 24.
He hates Jokic.
But what did he do?
He hates Jokic.
He made 3 in the 4th. You talking about that?
He turned up on defense, and then his offense. He found his offense in the 4th. That's the best. See, y'all think about scoring. Y'all think about scoring. Remember, I'm a two-way guy. It was the best player on the floor that game. He was taking the double team, finding all his guys. They were hitting shots, and then he turned up defensively. Best player on the floor.
He did all that despite the scoring, but I still don't think he was best player before that game. But we already litigated it.
He did all that, and then the 4th quarter, he scored, and Jokic didn't. Best player on the floor. Best player on the floor.
Jokic didn't score the last 2 minutes.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm saying he facilitated the whole game, got all his guys open shots, played defense, locked up, helped them make their run, and in the 4th quarter, when it was playing time, he made shots. That's the best player on the floor to me.
Jokic did all that and scored, except his players did not play well. That was the main difference. The Nuggets were not. Or am I thinking game 6?
You are thinking game
Not
6.
confused. No, but wait, the game 7 stats I don't think we're not good with the.
I'm not
players.
saying they're not good. I'm just saying who I thought was the best player on the floor. When I watched that game in the beginning,
Anthony Edwards got
I
saved.
thought Anthony Edwards was the best player on the floor. He did not get saved because he made the important buckets and he made the important stops. He did not get saved.
He made a wide open 3 like Robert Ory.
He made 2 threes.
like Robert Ory is crazy.
What are we?
Like Robert Ory is crazy.
He locked up on defense. I'll give you that. But he
had 7 assists. He led the team in assists. He led the team in assists. He locked up on. It happens. It happens. It happens. Same thing with Kobe Game 7, 2010. Yo, but you had to do something else to contribute to winning. Kobe couldn't shoot. What did he have? He had 12 rebounds in the game, and he locked up. Best player on the floor.
Listen,
you were having more impact on the floor. Impact.
I don't know if I could agree with that. More impact.
Impact.
He wasn't the only one making defensive plays, man. Even Mike Conley was getting in there and getting steals too.
That's a fact.
But anyway, going back to because the Mavericks.
I gotta go.
Yeah, the Mavericks. They're evenly matched. Kyrie has a propensity to get cold sometimes. So I know it's not a lot, but it's like it can and that they depend on Kyrie so much, not more than Luka, but they do depend on Kyrie so much that if that happens, they're gonna lose the game. So,
but I think
that's what I'm saying. I think
the time they need him to be hot, he's always gonna be hot. And he even said it to Luka. Like when he hit that shot in the corner, he turned to Luka and he goes, "It's the 4th quarter."
True.
He's never gonna go cold in the 4th. So as long as the team makes it to the 4th, you never have to worry about him.
Which is the thing. What if Anthony Edwards wakes up offensively? Like there's so much, and then Rudy Gobert being the presence in the paint that he is when he got to switch.
They shoot threes.
You could say that, but
that's why it's a bad matchup. They shoot threes. That Rudy Gobert stuff is not valuable.
It's dead in the water. It's dead in the water.
They shoot threes too, though. The Timberwolves shoot threes too.
Okay, that's cool. But you asked me about, I'm saying on defense, Rudy Gobert, there's no value. They shoot threes.
Well, 3-point shooting teams have a propensity to get colder than teams that don't rely on threes as much. So we don't know. They're very different teams, but I think they're still evenly matched. So I can't pick.
I think it's going to go just like the Nuggets series. I think it goes to Game 6 in Minnesota, and Luka is going to show up and get him out.
Let's see. Listen, there's a lot of basketball in the next 2 weeks, but that's something we're going to have to discuss on the next episode.
Last takes on Indiana Boston. We didn't do any predictions going forward.
Boston
for that
all the way. Let's go.
You think sweep? You think they're cooked?
Sweep.
Is Tyrese playing?
I don't know.
I
don't know.
I don't think.
Well, let's see.
He's questionable. I think. If he can't show up, it's like he's not playing.
Yeah,
that's one thing about Tyrese that I noticed from the Knicks. If he just cannot show up, then he might as well stay and let CJ McConnell come in because he'll be more productive.
If Tyrese is hurt enough that he's questionable, I think it's going to be a sweep. If Tyrese is able to play, I'm gonna say Celtics and
4 hours ago. 4 hours ago, Woj said there was legitimate concerns about his ability to play.
It's a sweep. It's a sweep.
Pascal might get them one.
No, he's not.
They can't guard Pascal.
They don't need to guard Pascal.
It's a game time decision.
They don't need to guard Pascal. They don't. He's not taking them to the land. He's not taking them to the promised land, bro. I'm sorry.
What's crazy too? This might end up. Kristaps might not even play for the rest of the series because it's so easy for them.
Yeah,
they might say, "All right, wrestle for the finals," which is crazy. But I'm hungry.
All right, let's end it. Let's end it here.
All right, you know what it is. We just gave you a nice hefty 2.5 hour pod. Hope y'all feed on that. Thank you for subscribing, liking, and commenting. You know what it is. It's Fast Breaks. We out.
Peace.
Back with another one.
Fast breaks, yeah, we coming with the takes. Never early, never late, but we always push the pace, yeah. And we really study tape, y'all just view the highlights. Man, we really watching games, yeah. You just watch from the stands. We run 3-man weeks, Paul, Dre, and Alan, yeah. Way more than a fan. We got love for the game. We don't have to pretend. Got it out the mud like you get it off the glass. I'm to run the fast break. Throw me the outlet. Yeah, we got it out the mud like you get it off the glass. Time to run the fast break. Throw me the outlet.